Welcome, everyone. It's the Hollywood on the Rocks edition of the Film Threat Podcast. It's a Wednesday night. It's happy hour. It's hopefully happy hour where you are. I think it's happy hour where I am, which means I'm going to get things kicked off. Yeah. Crack open a cold one of whatever you're drinking, or mix yourself something with little ice cubes in it. And let's get started. Let's get started here. We have Alan Ng, the editor-in-chief of Film Threat. He's at, where is he? He's at the San Francisco International Film Festival. He's in the Bay Area. I don't know. Is Alan doing a meetup? He'll tell us. Let's get started right now. Welcome to the Hollywood on the Rocks edition of the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore. How are you doing today? I am being joined by Alan Ng, who's Alan's at the San Francisco International Film Festival.
I think they dropped international though.
Did they drop international? It's just
I think so. Yeah.
Really? All right. Well, that's cool. That's fine. We'll take it. Alan, how's it going today? I've got to find the right background for us.
Yeah, that's going good. Today was the travel day, and unfortunately, it's only an hour flight. So just came in, got situated, got into my really cheap hotel room, and staying in the city, which is an adventure among itself.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm excited that you're there because you're seeing a lot of fun movies while you're there. There's one movie in particular I'm excited. You're going. Is it tonight that you're seeing it?
Yeah, I'm seeing Hatching tonight.
Okay.
We reviewed it back at, I believe, Sundance, and this is a weird movie, a really weird movie. A24 is just pumping these things out.
Now they're good, man. A24 just has good taste. We talked about that movie X like a month or so ago, which was awesome. I'm excited today because, well, first of all, a bunch of things. We're going to talk about like cheesy indie sci-fi and like low budget exploitation movies. That's kind of the theme for tonight, and I'm excited to talk about that because we have also one of my favorite sci-fi movies from when I was a kid, from 1953, Invaders from Mars. We have the lead actor of that movie is going to be on the show in about an hour, and the guy who's working on the restoration for Invaders from Mars, the original, which I went to. This is so weird that I get contacted. I guess it's playing some film festival. Turner Classic Movies is doing it, and I went to try to buy it, and I couldn't find it. I was like, I haven't seen that movie in years. It kind of popped up like, oh, I'd love to buy it, and then I couldn't find it. So they're doing a 4K restoration. That's probably part of it. Let's get things kicked off. And wait, I made a banner specially for you.
Oh, fun.
There you go. There's your banner.
I feel so special. Yeah, I've always enjoyed the San Francisco Film Festival. It's very eclectic. I will tell you, the Castro Theater was where most of the action's at. Beautiful theater, horrible seats. The seats are the worst.
They're that bad?
Yeah. I'm a tall person, and so I'm always cramped. And there was a tribute to Charlize Theron, and I was sitting in my seat for 5 hours, and I was I just couldn't stand it. I couldn't walk afterwards. I should have a Film Threat sticker around this, shouldn't I? Oh, yeah,
a Film Threat sticker. All right, look. Before we get started, a couple of things. One, we're not monetized right now. Don't ask. We are not monetized. You unfortunately cannot give us super chats, but you can support us and buy something. If you go to shop.filmthreat.com, go check it out. You can get yourself a Film Threat t-shirt, a Film Threat mug. That's what you can do. But you know what? No super chats tonight, which means I'll be reading as many chats as I can get to. But our apologies. It is a glitch. We're going to have it fixed in the next week or two. I hope we will get remonetized.
We are not canceled. We're not canceled.
There's not anything nefarious. There's nothing nefarious going on. We're just like, it's a technical glitch and paperwork BS, and it's totally gonna get itself resolved. But support us by going to shop.filmthreat.com. Also, if for any reason you want to contact us, go to filmthreat.com/contact, and there you go. And then also, one reminder, when you're watching Hollywood on the Rocks, take a shot when someone talks about movies. It's very simple to do. I'm going to follow my own advice, and I'm going to do that.
This is the point of the show. It's kind of unfair.
It's not a. Hey, let's see who is in the chat. We've got James Kelly's here. Invaders from Mars, great poster, and it's a great. I love that movie. That movie haunted me as a kid. I look at it today and like, yeah, it's kind of cheesy, but as a kid, there's a shot where every person would disappear sort of into quicksand that would be taken into this alien vessel where they would, basically end up being tools of the invaders from Mars. But they go over this hill and there was this sound of like, it was like, ah, and you hear like this, like they're being sucked in. The sound of that drove me crazy. It just scared the hell out of me as a kid. So the film philosopher says, is that Modelo? No. But if it was, Modelo would be a sponsor. No, it is. I'm embarrassed to say what it is, film philosopher. It is Bud Light Seltzer. It's like club soda. It's club soda with a hint of alcohol, which is all I'm looking for. I'm not looking to get trashed. Just, get a little buzz and talk to people about movies.
I was afraid it was your secret stash of Zima.
Yes. Oh, come on. Akanika says, enjoyed the Nooner today. Oh, that's right. I was on Nerdrotic Nooner.
Oh.
Gary Beekler had me on the show, and there you are. So a bunch of I'm sorry, I'm not catching these chats. Melodic Method says Chris can get his drink on however he wants. Well, thank you for that. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate that you're all here, even though we're not doing super chats. We're not making any money on advertising. But what Alan and I are going to do right now is, with you, we're going to watch some exploitation movie trailers that have come out like recently that are the weirdest. Yeah. Okay. Wait, Gabriel says that's exactly what a canceled person would say. Yeah, we're definitely not. No, we're not. It literally is paperwork that, unbeknownst to me, needed to be filed for us to, even though we got like monetized last year. Look, I'm not.
I know. This is the second time that it's been paperwork. It's
yeah. So I don't know. I really, what I'd like to do? I would love to just do the show and not worry about any of this BS. That would be fun. But there's so much stuff that goes into doing what Alan and I do that has nothing to do with actually talking about movies, and it's incredibly boring. Derek Douglas says the trailer for Hatching is real weird. Yes, it is. It opens on Friday. The director of Hatching is coming on the Film Threat podcast this Friday, 10 a.m. I think. The show starts at 9 a.m. We're going to talk about, we got a bunch of movies to talk about on Friday, but let's do this. Wait, Holy Hand Grenades has a very important question for you. I wonder if Alan stepped in any human feces while you're out there. Alan, what is the human feces situation like right
it's now? So far clean. I've been staying on the main roads, which doesn't say a whole lot, but I've decided not to walk down some sketchy alleys here and there.
And Lagbait says, Alan, not in front of a theater backdrop? What is this hellish planescape?
Yes, it's the hotel room. Yeah, my screening's at 8:45, so I should have been at one of the theaters. It's the just the locations will give you an eye opener to the state of San Francisco.
All right. Well, I want to hear about it. I know you'll talk about it on Friday because you'll still be there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The Sound of One Man Laughing says, "Hey there, Alan," and Alan's friend.
Yeah, that's Chris, by the way.
That's all I get. All right. Movie Homicide asks, "Hey, Chris Gore, what is your opinion on the upcoming Toxic Avenger remake, and will you see it?" Well, one, I love the Toxic Avenger. I think it is an exploitation film classic. I love it personally. I have no idea how this one is going to turn out. No idea. It's Peter Dinklage plays the, sort of human form of the Toxic Avenger. It looks like it's going to be weird. A big budget a big budget trauma movie. Can that work? I mean, the closest thing was probably Super, directed by James Gunn. starring Rainn Wilson, is probably the closest thing to that, which is an awesome movie. But I really have no idea. But as far as I'm concerned, if Lloyd Kaufman gets money from it, great.
Are you saying Peter Dinklage is not Toxie?
Yeah. Oh, wait. And Gabriel says, oh, man, the rock music was good while it lasted. What, should we have it playing in the background? I mean, I don't know. We're not going to get, I mean, we could have it playing in the background if that's what you want. I can lower it. I can just keep it low in the mix. Do people care? You can barely hear it. Do we need it? We don't really need it.
No, I don't think we do.
I think it'll be distracting. Let's stick to talking to everybody. More power to Lloyd. And Goober says, for the film philosopher, Goober says, loved Super. Super's great. Super is what basically got James Gunn his job on the Guardians of the Galaxy. But let's do this. Alan, I want to watch some movie trailers with you.
Yes.
We can watch them together. I have 3 movie trailers that I lined up that I want us to see and react to. Alan has no idea what he's about to see. Okay. But we get the weirdest movies sent to us at Film Threat, along with the weirdest trailers.
Honestly, that's the best part of this job is
that. Yes.
Everyone sees the cool video, the big studio, big money videos. We get the weirdest stuff and we look for this stuff.
Yes. Well, I don't know how you're gonna react to this. So let's look at this, Alan. This is this trailer is Suburban Sasquatch. Okay. So let's check this out. This is from I have 2 trailers for one of my favorite companies. Let's just check this out together. And hopefully the audio will work. Everyone in the chat can just let me know if this is working, because we're still trying to. In fact, just before I came on, I was trying out a new microphone because I don't know if my microphone is decent. So any feedback on the presentation of the show, we're trying to do better sound. We're trying to technically get better. Your comments will help us improve, which will make the show better, and we appreciate it. So let's just check this out. This trailer. Oh my God. It's coming out in a Blu-ray collector's edition. Suburban Sasquatch. Okay. This is like something that would be featured on like Red Letter Media's Best of the Worst. But here we are. So let's watch it.
Hey! Okay! That's got a typical homicide. It was big in here and he had huge things. Yeah, that means Suburban Nature Park. Let's talk about it. I'm ready.
Who's coming to get you?
Sasquatch.
Oh my God. Okay. So Retro Nerd Girl says, I think RLM did feature this, and Sound of One Man Laughing said that was on Best of the Worst. I knew it was familiar. Wait. Sorry. This that's an ad. That's an ad that we don't want to see. All right. So my apologies on that. I gotta be faster on this. But yeah, that was brutal, says Holy Hand Grenades. Oscar worthy performances, says Brandon Steinbeck 420. Yeah, and Garo Setien says looks fantastic. Yeah, so I guess this was already, I knew it was familiar, this one, but this is one that I think we're gonna lose most of our audience if I show this. We're gonna lose most of our audience if I show this. This could be, turn off autoplay. I don't know, how do I turn off autoplay?
Oh,
is that a setting?
It's a YouTube. It should be there. I don't know if you're playing off a playlist or something.
No, I'm just bringing up links. So
yeah, I mean, Amazon does that automatically.
A couple quick questions. Sparta 300. Were you a fan of the late 70s Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers, and the 25th Century with Gil Gerard? I was a fan of both of them. Diggy. I love both.
I was very built to Buck Rogers.
I love that in Battlestar Galactica, like the first few episodes, they had a robot that was a monkey in a robot suit that was a robot. Bizarre stuff.
Because they went through the trouble putting fur on a robot.
Look at this. Look, we're being mocked. The Sound of One Man Living. How do I turn off autoplay? So adorable these two are. Look, okay, I'm sure I could figure it out. It's just my focus is on you. My focus is on the content. On all this technical stuff, I would love to just play it. We love when you guys enough to endure, says Holy Hand Grenades. Sometimes I wear my Sasquatch costume to Whole Foods, says the film philosopher.
I hope you do.
So,
I hope
then make sure y'all see Six String Samurai someday. Silverlock, not only have I seen it, I was at the world premiere of it when it was at the Slamdance Film Festival. I reviewed it, and my quote was on the poster and the DVD box. Look it up, Film Threat. In fact, it was on billboards. I remember it was just like, wow, and that wasn't the first time Film Threat was quoted on a billboard, but I think it was the first time I saw my name on a billboard. So there you go. Internet Rec Room says, I'm not worried. Don't distract.
The whole thing about Suburban Sasquatch is those were the movies I wish I had made as a child.
Well, and Moffat was the robot. That's right. Moffat.
Yes, Moffat.
Oh my God.
And Tweety.
My God. But I love those. And I even loved when Battlestar Galactica came to Earth. And they did
I love that. I love that season.
It was so cheesy. I mean, the trailers for that, like I would get chills as a kid. Like, this looks so epic, and then the show would always be bad.
Wasn't one of the characters like Starbucks' son or something like that?
Yeah. Fletcher Williams is here. Says, I am late, but made it. Yay. Hey, Fletcher, good to see you.
Hey, Fletcher.
Never too late to start your directorial career, Alan. Look at this is This is what I find inspiring about bad movies. Bad movies prove anyone can make a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think that like bad movies are important, because it's like a stepping stone, right? I mean, look, one of Oliver Stone's first movies was a movie called The Hand, about a disembodied hand that went around and like strangled people and killed people. I mean, it's incredibly stupid. But yeah. Okay, wait. Holy Hand Grenade says some very useful advice. Chris, the autoplay looks like a play button when active and a pause button when deactivated. It's in the common controls area. All right. I love this. I'm going to look. I don't see it.
He's mocking you.
Please mock away. I don't mind. Let's get to our next.
He's saying when the video is over, hit the play button, it turns to pause. And then when you want to.
Oh my God. Yeah, basically that was it on the Addams Family. Exactly.
Yes.
Inspired by The Hand on the Addams Family. Is absolutely right. All right, let's watch this next trailer, which is one, a movie you can't believe ever actually got made. And then two, it's shocking. I don't even know if I should play this. We might get double demonetized if we play this trailer. But you know what? I mean, like,
so you're saying we'll owe YouTube money for playing this?
Can we get even worse? Can it be even worse for us, Alan? I don't know. But let's watch this. I don't know. I'm just gonna press play. It's 1 minute and 18 seconds. Here we go.
I went to the doctor's office yesterday. You know what he told me?
The test came out positive for AIDS. I'm sorry.
Put me out, right?
Yeah, this can't be happening.
Have you seen your psychiatrist lately?
He told me I was crazy. He's like, oh,
We can check up on Friday.
he's got put on my hip. It's me die.
I think you might hurt yourself or someone else.
Some guy. You don't think this guy injected me with AIDS, do you?
So they're not running around doing this. Well, I'll say, brothers, you're gonna rot in hell for this, and the sooner the better.
You could have stuck you with the needle. You could be in the morgue right now with a tag on your toe.
Find this guy and bring his head on a plate. If he keeps up his current line of behavior, he's going to end up at room temperature.
Drop the needle, kid.
This room's better look both ways from across the street.
No one's going to help me with my problem later, okay? I got AIDS.
did he say then? He's gonna take me to hell with him.
Surprise. What are you doing in here?
Okay, how does a movie like that even get?
How old is that movie?
Let me check. I'm gonna.
I mean, the guy is so bad that he'll kill you and give you AIDS.
I mean, horrifying that this exists, but it's coming out in a Blu-ray collector's edition. This is like, okay, look, I am the king of going to white elephants with either having the gift that everybody wants or the gift that nobody wants. And I think it's either got to be the coolest thing ever, or it's got to be the worst thing ever. And this just, it looks like it was shot like with a VHS camcorder, like in the 80s, but by the way of it. But oh my God. All right.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm just glad it's coming to Blu-ray. That's all I'm happy about.
Okay.
Finally, it's
the film philosopher. Was this originally an after-school special? Joel Rodriguez says that was done in Windows Movie Maker, and then I can't keep up with these comments. Sparta 300 says about 50% of the quality of John Waters' They Live. How is it? Okay, Spider Geronimo says, how has that not been on RLM, Red Letter Media? Truly, God has forsaken us. Yeah. Let's see. David Stout says, hey, Chris, just watch Invasion from Mars on Tubi. Thank you for the recommendation. Well, Invaders from Mars, I tried to find it. I just wanted to actually just buy it. If it's on Tubi, that's great. But it looks so bad. Like this new 4K edition looks like it's going to be pretty awesome. James Kelly says, nothing says quality like 4:3 aspect ratio on VHS. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's just, first of all, I love bad films. I love, like, we get them every week at Film Threat too. Just like submit it to us. What do you think of recently some of the worst ones that you've seen, Alan, or best worst?
Oh man, you're making me think of a movie right now. I know I've seen a few. I think, was it Electro Man or something like that?
Electro Man. Oh my God.
I thought it's some guy who gets electrical powers. I know. Yeah, I write so many reviews. I'm having a hard time keeping track of the really bad. But believe me, I've seen a lot of them recently.
Alan is incredibly prolific. I just if you read the website on a daily basis, it's insane the number of reviews that Alan does. The Film Philosopher, so bad they're good. Those are like my favorite movies, but you have to categorize them like. I just saw, and you have to see this KGF Chapter 1, which is actually on Amazon Prime right now. Watch that movie. It's an Indian movie. It's a little slow going, like the first 40 minutes. Once the movie kicks in, it's insane. I saw KGF Chapter 2, which we're going to talk about on Friday's show. I can't even describe this movie. It's like it's a crime film, right? So it's about this warlord that takes over a part of India and turns
a gold mine.
Takes over this part of India then he turns it into a gold mine, right? The whole state is this, like, the whole society is sort of built on a gold mine where he's collecting gold. And the way I describe it is, it's as if Al Pacino's character in Scarface took over the state of Florida and decided to go to war with the United States and the White House. It's nuts. It's so over the top. So there you go. RMFX, I have too much trauma from editing VHS back in the day. I used to edit VHS tape to tape. Do you remember doing that? Oh my God.
I still have a high school project I did doing that. Yeah.
Nice. I'm just so you know, I'm gonna mute myself when I have to burp. And my apologies for that. So there you go. I bet the 40K reward is going to be a bad movie of sorts as well. All I can say is this: it involves Alan Ng. This, and you know, one thing I forgot to say is that you need to slap that like button. Slap it, slap.
Oh wow!
Slap the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you not subscribed to the channel. We need all the subscribers we can get. Because we're on the road to 40,000, hopefully on the road to 100,000 before the end of the year. That's our goal. And you know what? the closer we get to that goal, the more videos you're going to see like this one.
Finish him. Oh, my jeans.
If you support the channel, you're going to get that kind of entertainment. And then also, I highly recommend that you join me in a drink as we watch, you know, as we check this stuff out.
These reviews are delicious.
Tell me when.
Yes, that is communication skills.
Science?
Ah, the smooth, cool taste of a great film threat. I love it. Perfect. Tastes so film thready.
It does. It tastes film thready. So, and the other thing I should mention is we're giving out, like, sure, we have merch for sale. If you want some, that's fine. But if you want some free stuff, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope. You know what an SASE is? Self-addressed stamped envelope. That means you mail me an envelope addressed to yourself. I have to explain this. To yourself, and you throw some postage on it, and I'll send you back some film thread stickers. We have pins, other stuff that it's just like it's too small, like to sell in the store. I don't want to bother with it, but you know, we give it away free at all of our meetups. And if you send us this self-addressed stamped envelope, you send it to Film Threat 1500 Wilshire Boulevard. No, wait, excuse me, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500. Let me get that right. LA, California. It's Los Angeles, California, 90036. So there you go. Send us a self-addressed.
Has anyone sent one yet?
I haven't checked the mailbox maybe like twice.
Okay.
But when I do,
Yeah. Be that first person. Be that first person.
Oh my God. Mock me all you want, lad. Babe. You know, self-addressed stamped envelopes, but autoplay confuses you. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes. And then Brendan Steinbeck says 420 says, Chris, when can we expect you to start an OnlyFans? You know what's so funny? I thought about starting an OnlyFans only to be the most boring OnlyFans. Literally, I want, who is it? Like Vice does that thing where they go to places that are like the lowest rated massage parlor. You know, it's like the absolutely lowest rated massage parlor. And then they go to it and then they talk about it. I think if I did an OnlyFans, it would be the lowest rated OnlyFans. So there you go. And Lagbait says I kid because I love, which is exactly. And then RMFX, I'd actually have to buy stamps. Yeah. Or if you come to a meetup, I generally have like just stickers and pins and stuff like in my pocket, and there you go. It would. Derek Douglas says it would be an OnlyFan. All right, there you go. Let's do this. Let's watch the last trailer that I queued up, which is the movie that we're gonna have this director on, which I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have this director on. But let me just play the trailer. I'm gonna wait. What am I doing here? I'm getting rid of that. And I am no look, I know I almost know how this works. So wait, no. I'm working on it.
It's
okay, all right, here we go. This one's gonna be fun to feature. This is from our pals at Full Moon Entertainment, Charlie Band's company. It is Charlie Band's company does stuff like Puppet Master and whatnot. And I'm a huge fan of the stuff that Charlie has done. Let's check out the trailer for, and this is based on like an old school, like sci-fi movie from the 50s.
Attack of the 50-foot cheerleader.
Yeah, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman is that movie, it's so cheesy. Like the poster for that movie is better than the whole movie. But this is a modern update of that. It's Attack of the 50-Foot Camgirl. And I saw the movie today, by the way. It is a healthy dose of nudity. Okay?
Yeah. I saw it the other day. So
imagine that concept. Yeah, I think we're going to have a review up on the website soon, right?
We have it. Oh, yeah. It'll be up tomorrow.
It'll be up tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to have a review of this movie up on the website. But I watched the movie just this morning. It's freaking weird, but like it's also like imagine those old concepts but with nudity. And this is on the Full Moon. Full Moon has like this like streaming service that's like $5 a month, and I think it's totally worth it. At this point, there's stuff on it that's better than Netflix. But let's watch this trailer together and enjoy it. Here we go. Wait, let's do it with the sound.
You gotta hit the mute button there. Yeah, there you go.
I am going to put the sound on. Feel free to make fun of me, folks. Here we go. Let's try that. Let's try that one more time.
All right, ladies, we're going live with this one.
Try to keep up. I am a self-made visionary. They love me. Morning, bitches.
Our benefactor.
Can I get a drum roll, please? As long as there is a single crumb left, it will self-replicate. Nobody will ever go hungry again.
All thanks to me.
At the very least, we need to test it on laboratory animals.
Absolutely not.
Whoa, wait. Beverly, no. Beverly? Beverly? Where are you, hon?
I'm out here.
Been looking all over for you.
Don't come out. I'm not photo ready.
You okay?
Hashtag never better.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, I'm sure it's no... Big deal.
I know. I'm
huge.
I think it looks like a freak show is what I think it looks like. The public wants more of me.
Beverly's misfortune has turned into our fortune.
Oh yeah, he likes it big.
All right. Okay. Alan, I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear thoughts in the chat. I saw it today.
It has some of the best nudity because it's gratuitous, and that's
yeah. Wait, what is going on? Sorry about that. This is not a great movie. Is it a fun movie? Hell yes, it's fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, all the nudity in it is completely unnecessary. And but why is that bad? If that's what you're looking for, why not?
Well, last time you were complaining that people don't use the bathroom in movies. This movie, people take showers in the movies because everyone takes a shower.
You know, it's good hygiene is important. I think that it's there you go. But look, you have to know what you're getting into, right? Like, if I'm seeing a movie called Attack of the 50-Foot Camgirl, directed by Jim Wynorski, he's going to tell me the correct pronunciation of his name. We're going to have him on the show. I want to have him on the show because he has a very storied career of making cheesy movies. And I love cheesy films like this. So, all right. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. You talk about it. We need to have fun in movies. I feel like that's something that's been missing in movies lately is just a sense of fun. Where did comedies go? I got into movies because of comedies, and there aren't anymore, except for Marry Me, I guess. And and the other thing is, I love movie magic, and this has a lot of movie magic in it. They're playing with miniatures, they're blending the miniatures with practical, and boobs. There's just lots of boobs.
Well, we've got some comments here. Fletcher Williams, Full Moon Movies, just promoting showers. Lagbait, if people can't get past the Camgirl part in the title, there's nothing you can do to help. Derek Douglas, it looks better than some of the movies on the Oscars. I would agree. I think it's better than some of the. And then sequel title, 2 50-foot Camgirls, 1 cup. Maybe one swimming pool. I laughed, I cried, I kissed $3 goodbye, says James Kelly. Holy Hand Grenade says, tell me about it. Movie magic, internet rec room.
Movie magic.
Gabriel says, this is not a great movie. What? How is this possible? Last good comedy I saw was Game Night. Comedies are almost dead at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah, Game Night was super fun. It was also really violent, which I was surprised that Game Night actually had like some shocking violence in it.
Mhm.
There you go.
Well, I think Deadpool was maybe the last time I really laughed in a movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, you have to know what you're getting into. I am a fan of bad, cheesy movies. I just happen to love them. But it's sort of like, I don't go to like a fast food restaurant thinking I'm going to have a good meal. I'm going there because I don't want to be hungry. I want something quick. And I kind of feel that way about like cheesy, like exploitation movies. That's how it's like, look, I don't want to think. I want to have a good time. I don't want to be sold some kind of like, I don't need a message. I don't need anything too heavy. And I just want to have fun. Bad Adam 12 says Jim Wynorski is awesome. Watch Papatopoulos. He's directed tons of awesome B films. He's the director that can get the most out of stock footage. Jim is going to be on the show. We're getting him on the show. After this movie came our way, I was like, well, we have to have Jim on the show to discuss it, because I mean, that's actually one of the coolest parts about this movie is that there's like all these miniatures and you can tell the girls are having fun. And they do like a really cool, this time seems like really simple, but I feel like whenever there's movies like where they have like giant, whether it's Godzilla, I feel like they always film it wrong. They film it like from like the cameras at sort of the level, almost eye level that the monsters would be. And it's like, no. Perspective of the audience, you'd be looking like this. You'd be like looking like, oh my gosh, look at these giant. And that's how you would see most of it. And then very, very rarely you use maybe a wide shot to give like some geography and whatnot. So
this movie does that. It's on the ground level and you're looking up.
Free account says, is there 50-foot nudity? I'd rather keep that a secret.
Yes.
I'd rather keep it a secret. Ken Bogus says, Chris, did you like The Love Witch? You know what's so funny? I haven't seen The Love Witch. I've seen the trailer. I'm aware of the movie. The director, her first movie is called Viva, which is one of my all-time favorites. It's like an exploitation movie set in the 70s that looks like it was made in the 70s. And a lot of people who saw Viva actually thought that it was like this old movie because she shot it all in 35 millimeter using like older types of film stock. She sort of mimicked not just the style of the era for exploitation movies in the early 70s, but also the acting style. It's a brilliant film. So I haven't seen The Love Witch yet, Ken, but I have seen Viva. And it's what's the director's name? Anna. I'm gonna look it up while you're talking. So how could I forget? It's directed by Anna Biller. Why do I think we follow her on Instagram from the Film Threat account. So
I've had the pleasure over the last few months of basically reviewing all of Albert Pyun's work. And
I love Albert Pyun.
I mean, it's B movies, but they're giving him money to do this stuff.
Well, he's done some great stuff, Albert. He did, of course, the Captain America movie.
Yep.
He also did Sword and the Sorcerer with Lee Horsley. And I'm actually on the Australian release of the DVD. I co-hosted the commentary with Albert. He invited me to his office.
Oh, wow. And
we watched the movie together, and I basically did a Q&A while we watched the movie. And we talked about why there was never a sequel. Because the very end of the movie, they say, and Talon will return in Sword and the Sorcerer Part 2. And then they never made it. So
Alien from LA is probably one of my favorites.
And Gabriel says Film Threat is slowly becoming a huge magnet for directors. It is we're about to talk to some filmmakers in about 20 minutes from Invaders from Mars. It's got to be something that interests me, so I can't wait to talk to the Hatching director. She's Finnish and she'll be on the show 10 a.m. on Friday, which will be good. So there you go. So Gabriel, stick around. I want to just try to bring on interesting directors. So
Yeah, we've had some big ones the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been good. James Kelly, I do miss the 70s drive-in exploitation. Brandon Steinbeck 420 says Flash Gordon remake. Did you ever see Flesh Gordon? I saw that when I was a kid, and it's the nudity part of it is like overrated. It's just,
yeah,
it's more like it's kind of cheesy, but it does have at least as bad a special effects as the original, Buster Crab film. So there you go. Spider Geronimo, any thoughts on the upcoming D&D movie? I have Spider, my apologies, I have no thoughts. I literally have no thoughts.
It just feels like they're gonna screw that one up too.
Yeah. That soap film thread tee is dope. Going to buy one myself. Get one, Cameron Montiel. Get one. Just go to shop.filmthread.com. Simple as that. So there you go.
Going back to the D&D, what are the odds that the filmmakers behind the D&D movie have never played D&D before?
I'm going to 100% believe that they've never played it, but they've watched YouTube videos. The Sound of One Man Laughing. Chris Gore dissing Buster Crab. I love Buster Crab. By the way, I used to watch the original Flash Gordon serial when I was a kid. I've seen all 3 of the serials that they did. Flash Gordon, Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars, and Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. Those are the 3 serials that Buster Crab, former Olympian, he was in those, and I loved those as a kid. I used to love them, and you can find most of them on YouTube. Mm-hmm. You can find episodes or compilations. They would take those episodes and kind of put them all into one. So there you go. Yeah. Can you hear a dog? Can you hear a dog?
Yeah, I can hear that dog.
There's a dog barking in the background. This is where I live, and on occasion, dogs bark. So there you go. James Kelly, do you guys promote short horror? Promote. We'll review it. Mm-hmm. Not as much on, say, the YouTube channel, but on the website. The website kind of like doesn't have as many limits, right? Like,
yeah, we review a lot of short horror shorts on the website.
For sure. Turo. Hey, Chris, saw you on Nerdrotic earlier. I'm still working too. What's so funny? During all of the Nerdrotic, I was going through emails and just doing normal, really boring work stuff that I could half pay attention to, and then be involved in that conversation. So
I'm sure he's glad to hear you say that.
The Film Philosopher, Flash Gordon, my fave movie of all time. Queen, yeah, the Sam Jones incarnation of that I love. It's written by Lorenzo Semple Jr. And if you know that name, Lorenzo Semple Jr. wrote the pilot and many episodes of the 1966 Adam West television series. And if you watch the old 66 Adam West Batman and you watch Flash Gordon, the tone is very similar. There's always things working on 2 levels. There are many double entendres. So there's things that if you're a kid and you see Flash Gordon, you see it one way. And if you're an adult, you're like, oh my God, Ornella Moody. That's the Italian actress who plays Princess Aura in the Sam Jones Flash Gordon. Very attractive lady, a very attractive woman, Ornella Muti. So there you go. Latino Slant, Paulie's here.
Oh, hey, Paulie.
Subscribe to his channel, Latino Slant, and subscribe to Film Thread if you're not already subscribed. And for those of you who showed up late, I don't know. Just here you go. Something a little something. This is for Paul.
Finish him. Oh, my jeans.
Paul, you showed up late, and I had to show that video again just for you. So thanks for popping in. That's cool. So yeah, Ornella Moody is like amazing in that film. I had a crush on her, and I'm also, just a quick side note, I'm in this documentary that I don't know what the name of this documentary is, but it's by Steven Scarlatta, who did the documentary called Alejandro Jodorowsky's Dune. So he made that documentary, and he's working on a new documentary that's been in progress for years. And the working title the last time I talked to him was called, there's a reason I'm saying this, it's a long story. It's called The Novelization Itself. And it's a documentary about movie novelizations. So I did an interview for the documentary because I collect movie novelizations. Now, why do I collect movie novelizations? And there's a whole bunch, not on my shelf in this room, but in another room, got a whole bunch of movie novelizations. And one of my favorite movie novelizations I have is for Flash Gordon. Okay. In the novelization for the movie Flash, and the cool thing about movie novelizations, when I was a kid, it was the only way to get deleted scenes in movies, right? Because, you know, now we kind of take it for granted, right? Like we get DVDs or video on demand, and what do we get? Excuse me. And I have to apologize. I can't tell you how many times I have to mute to just have a human moment. So I don't know. Vote in the chat. Should I mute my human moments, or should I just do what I just did and burp? I don't know. We'll see. But so I would buy movie novelizations like for movies like Alien and whatnot, because most of the movie novelizations were based on the original shooting script, not on the movie. And so what would happen is invariably the movie would come out, they would cut a bunch of scenes, but those scenes would be preserved in the movie novelization. So I had the movie novelization for Flash Gordon. And in that I learned from the movie novelization that Flash Gordon's mother died during childbirth. His father was basically an alcoholic and kind of this guy who worked as a janitor at the college, the university where Flash Gordon went on to play. And Flash Gordon's father was so distraught that his wife died in childbirth, just decided call him Flash, sort of gave him that name on a whim. And then he ended up working and was depressed and worked as a janitor. This is all in the Flash Gordon novelization, folks. So then the dad works at this university as a janitor, and his son then went to the college and became the college star football player quarterback, and then went on to basically play for who, of course, the New York Jets. You also learned that Dale Arden was at this hotel, and she went on this excursion to get away from this boyfriend who was into perverted things. It's basically implied that her boyfriend encouraged her to go to orgies, and she wasn't super into it. And she was at the hotel to kind of get her mind off that. What was the guy who wrote the novelization for Flash Gordon? What was he thinking? Okay. And so I read aloud for Steven Scarlatta for his documentary. I just read aloud some of the stuff from the novelization, and what they plan to do is kind of bring those scenes to life with animation. So you'll see me in a scene kind of read some of this about Flash Gordon's origin, and then Dale Arden. I don't know what I might not even be in the documentary for all I know. But I loved movie novelizations because it was basically the precursor to deleted scenes on DVDs. And then I love DVDs and whatnot. And Paulie says, take Paulie's advice, shop for Film Threat t-shirts, mugs, merch, and more. Go to shop.filmthreat.com because we're not monetized right now. We're just doing this for fun because we want to talk to you.
You know,
and that's what we like to do.
Back to novelization, the E.T. Novel, it was M&M's. And not Reese's. It was
M&M's and not Reese's Pieces. Oh, that's weird. Ryan Landis says he said just call him Flash. Sounds as bad as just how Han Solo got his last name. Yeah, it is really weird. Like, okay, whatever. It's the, and a lot of these novelizations. What was interesting talking to Steven Carlotta about this documentary he's doing, and they talked to Alan Dean Foster in the doc. This documentary is not even out yet. I'm super excited about it. But it's interesting because he said many times they had 2 weeks to write the novelization. In some cases, you had to write it over a weekend. So they would give the screenwriter or the novelist, they would give them well, here's the screenplay, and we have kind of a rough assembly, and you got to write it. Or in some cases, they'd only have the shooting script, and things would change, right? So that's why you got Captain Dallas. All the deleted scene about Captain Dallas. Ripley actually runs into Captain Dallas, who's in he's encased and that's a deleted scene. You can see that. It's on one of the Alien DVDs. So there you go. Derek Douglas says Young Frankenstein was better than Spaceballs.
Yes.
Agree.
Yes. Absolutely.
Fact check, true. Fact check.
I mean, as much as I love Spaceballs, it was way too silly. It was on the silly end. While Young Frankenstein had a little depth to it. And I think it's partly because Gene Wilder co-wrote that one as well.
True, and I will also say I think Spaceballs was. I thought the humor was a little too juvenile because I don't know. I just thought it was a little too juvenile, and I thought it was too late. It's like it just came out like, even though Young Frankenstein is kind of based on like all those old Universal monster movies. So and then Brandon Steinbeck back with the Blazing Saddles is better than both.
Yeah. And he wrote that with Richard Pryor, so I think it's his collaborators that make.
And B-roll says Spaceballs is pretty rough. You know what? Not only is Spaceballs rough, it's there was a lot of people don't even remember this. There was a Spaceballs animated series that was on G4 TV, and I happen to know they paid way too much for it. So there you go. Look, Latino Slant, like Paulie throwing in the links. I don't even know if Film Thread is on iTunes. You can just listen to us there. So there you go. And Paulie, you got to go see KGF Chapter 2. Dude, I saw it yesterday. Insane.
I think you did see it. I think a video of his popped up.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Go over to Paulie's channel. Like myself, he's really become enamored with all the amazing films coming out from India right now that are just fantastic. So there you go. But chat, our chat is on fire. But we have our special guest that's joining us right now. Let's give it up for Scott. Scott is here from Invaders from Mars. Scott MacQueen. Hey, Scott, let's bring you on camera here. Scott, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you.
Wow, you sound amazing.
Just sitting here in the green room.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's bring up a proper background for you. Let's bring up a.
You don't like the background?
No, on ours.
No, on our channel. I want to get
I went to great
proper background. Wait, let me get this.
I was at Walmart all afternoon shopping for my props.
Oh my
God!
God!
I love that background.
Oh, you have Robbie the robot there. Oh, that's awesome.
Wait! Where is he?
Oh, nice. Oh my God, that's awesome. Scott, thank you so much for being here today. I was telling everyone before he came on, I am a huge fan of this movie. It disturbed me as a kid. I was incredibly disturbed by Invaders from Mars.
That's the universal experience. Welcome to the club.
I mean, it's also a film that has stuck with me, that even though I can look back and it's like, okay, well, some of the outfits were a little cheesy, some of the effects a little cheesy, but the thing that haunted me was the sound. The sound, you know what sound I'm talking about, right?
You're talking about the choir that drones.
Yes.
The people are drawn down through the sand.
Yes. Yes.
Brilliant writing that we believe was done by Morty Glickman. A cappella 4-part choir singing these amazingly dissonant harmonies.
But they're nightmare inducing. And I will say this, one of the worst things to do is to watch that movie at night. As a kid, I had to kind of force myself to stay up late to be able to see like late night horror movies, right? They started at like 11 p.m. Almost invariably when I was a little kid, there's no way I could actually stay awake for the entire movie. And this movie haunted my dreams. It's so effective. We've got, first of all, I also want to before we get to questions in the chat, if you have questions for Scott MacQueen, he's going to talk to us about the restoration. Tell us about this 4K restoration, because the movie it's available and it looks okay, but I'm dying to see what you do with the restoration.
Well, the picture had been very badly handled for the last 70 years for a variety of reasons. It was shot in Eastman color negative, which is fine, but then the printing was in an archaic process called Cinecolor, at that point Super Cinecolor, and it meant that the negative cutting lacked all of the optical effects, so dissolves and such between scenes are absent in the negative. Cinecolor, they made, like Technicolor, 3-strip duplicate black and white negatives of the 3 colors, and then their proprietary system printed those onto a black and white film that had special emulsions that were then toned in the colors, and the effects were all created and cut into those dupe negatives. So they're gone. They never kept the units.
Wow.
So you didn't have the titles, you didn't have any of the transitions, and then Reel 2 is completely missing from the negative when it was found. So we had to fall back, and all the intermediates I'm describing, they didn't survive either. So we had an incomplete negative for probably 65 to 70% of the film that's in beautiful condition and from which we could retrieve excellent color. And the rest of it had to come from 70-year-old heavily worn Cinecolor prints. And to top it off, the picture has two versions. It opened here in April of '53. They made a deal for foreign, and the foreign distributor didn't like the dream ending. They wanted a literal ending where the Martians are routed and everybody lives happily ever after. And they wanted the film longer. So they shot an 8.5-minute sequence of padded dialogue at the observatory, where they brought the kid back a year later. He's on, you can see he's starting to pass puberty. He doesn't feel the same as he felt a year before at 12. The wardrobe is cheap. The camera takes are long and belabored. It's all flatly lit, and the kid's wardrobe doesn't match. They've put him in. They gave him a sweater vest that he never wears, and we cut from him in his 1952 wardrobe to him in his 1953 wardrobe, back to him in his 1952 wardrobe, and he has a buzz cut kind of haircut in the new footage as well. And it's boring. All they do is talk about flying saucers and things that were in the papers at the time, like General Mantee, whose plane crashed, allegedly chasing a saucer, and the Lubbock Lights. And they keep showing you things. And then Arthur Franz drags out all these toys, says, oh, this is the Type 1 saucer, and this is the Type 2. And at one point, Jimmy goes, that's the one I saw. And after they've done that for 8 minutes, they cut back to they walk back and sit down in their chairs, boom. And in the time machine, they're back a year and a half earlier wearing their proper wardrobe, and the movie resumes.
Wow.
So we had two prints of the film that were that version. So they didn't have the correct ending. And to add to that, the foreign prints made cuts in the film. Some of the footage of the army milling about in the mutants in the tunnels, which had been repeated footage added in America to extend the film here originally. So we were kind of between a rock and a hard place. So we found another source, which was a 1976 print from the hybrid reissue that was in Eastman color and put all the stuff into one movie. But that print now is utterly pink. But we were able to take the scenes we needed and pull them back from there. And at the 11th hour, we checked again with the archives we dealt with, the National Film and Sound Archive in Australia, and we knocked again on the George Eastman Museum's door. And they said, well, we do have a second print here, but it belongs to a collector, and it's on deposit. And we would have to get his permission. And so the permission was granted, and his version was the original American version with the ending that we needed. So 5 different sources, we had to piece all those together. And you can imagine the 70-year-old prints were very scratched, very gouged. The prints, the scans we got from one archive, well, both the overseas archives and the one in Rochester gave us scans. They would not send us the film. Some of the scans were jumpy. I don't know whether the film was shrunken, but it did not seat calmly in the gate. It was hopping all over the place. And in some cases, we had to re-register shots electronically, which is very tedious and costs money. And in other cases, we had to fall back on that faded Eastman print and borrow shots from there. Everything we had on one of those for the foreign version had splices all through it. We were able to salvage 6 shots, and the rest had to come from a color corrected Eastman print, which I think we have an example of when we're
let's first of all, you're getting a lot of love in the chat. Everybody has
good
questions for you. We will get to your chat questions for Scott, and I do want to look at some of this video footage, but we have a very special guest here, the star of Invaders from Mars. Jimmy Hunt is here to join us.
It's the boy.
Let's say hi to Jimmy here. How you doing?
Fine, Chris. This is Chris, right?
Yes, Chris and Alan, and Scott.
Oh, we know Scott. Yes.
Well, it's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to meet you. Pleasure to meet you, sir. That movie has terrified me since I was a kid, and it's such a pleasure to meet you.
Jimmy, we have another friend with us. Do you see who's behind me?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Hey.
He insisted on coming, so I couldn't say no.
My little buddy. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look. We want to continue our question here. We've got a bunch of questions from the chat. They want to ask you some questions. Let's take a look at some of the footage here. I'm going to throw up one of these video files, and maybe you can talk us through it here. What went into this incredible restoration? It's just really bizarre to me that, just like the other week, I'm looking to I caught the trailer somehow, and I'm like, oh, I should watch this movie. But here, let's check out. This is the comparison of the Eastman footage and the restoration. Let's take a look at this. Here we go.
This is one of the scenes for Europe, and on the right is the faded print we had to work from. All the colors leached out. We were able to revive the color from that very print to get it to look normal and remove the scratches and dirt. And this is where Jimmy's wearing the non-matching wardrobe that doesn't correspond to what he wore in 1952. This is the long sequence where they are looking at pictures of UFOs and pretty much marking 8 minutes of time to make the foreign distributor happy. He has a longer movie. Arthur Franz plays with ashtrays to show us a Type 1 saucer. Helena Carter, her makeup is not consistent with how lovely she looks in 1952. I don't know if you can tell from the distance that Jimmy's got a very fresh haircut. But when you see it in context, he's suddenly a year older, and he looks a year older.
That's amazing.
Still haven't lost my freckles.
Now, Jim will have to tell you the story about his freckles and how they got him into movies.
Let's take a look at some of the other. Oh, this is Jimmy. It's just titled Jimmy Sees Saucer.
This is the opening of the picture.
Here we go.
This is where Jimmy wakes in the night and sees the saucer landing. Now, here's an original 1954 print with this blue Cinecolor soundtrack.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of hopping around. The color's kind of milky, but it's not faded. It's the way it was originally. He runs to the window and he sees the craft coming over the hill. A special effects shot done with a matte painting. And here's the most famous line from the movie now.
Gee whiz.
And here's our restored version. This is a combination of camera negative and the dupe footage for the optical. We've gone for much more of a nighttime look. We've kept the green intense the way it appears in the best of the Cinecolor prints we saw. And Jimmy, you want to give us your line because it's not here.
Okay, I will.
There you go.
Gee whiz.
Let's look at.
I had to live with that line for my whole life.
And this is the main title. And talk us through that.
Right. Again, this had to come off of a print because the titles don't exist in the negative. And here is a Cinecolor print as found. And again, you can see it's milky, it's hopping, it's got dirt on it, scratches, cinch marks. It's really kind of a pretty ugly thing. And here's our restored version of it.
Oh, wow.
Using that very footage you saw, stabilizing it, color correcting it, doing electronic dirt removal.
it's amazing what they can do. Like Peter Jackson has done
20
quite a
years ago, you couldn't dream of doing this well. The tools just had not evolved, but they're there now.
Scott did just such an outstanding job on this. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's better than when I first made the movie. You know, it's just really great.
Well, I mean, this is to me like just doing film restoration. That's like, I mean, it's preserving that history is just incredibly important. I want to get Alan. This is my colleague Alan Ing, the editor-in-chief of Film Thread. If you have any questions, Alan, I'm going to go to some questions in the chat here. But
yeah, I mean, was there ever a risk of not finding everything, and what might have happened in that case?
Well, there was that risk. There are 16 millimeter prints with collectors, which we wouldn't want to use because they're 25% of the film real estate of a 35 print. So they would have been very grainy, and they would have probably all been faded by now as well. Thankfully, it's something we didn't need to worry about. We had a couple of near misses until we realized that we could recover some shots from that faded print that Ignite has at UCLA. In the foreign versions, they didn't like a moment on the hillside where Dr. Blake, the lovely brunette in the white dress, has shown Jimmy and everyone else the electrodes they've taken out of the neck of the dead girl who's been controlled. And she tells him, oh, his parents have been operated on. See what you can do. And they're going to try to get the surgeons to remove them from his parents' neck. And he follows Milburn Stone, the doctor from Gunsmoke, over to the Jeep. And there's a cut in the foreign prints, but in the American one, he says, "Please hurry, sir." And the soldier turns and looks at him and pats him on the head, which gets a giggle from people. But we didn't have that. And to be authentic, we needed that. And thankfully, we were able to use that shot and shots for the ending from that faded print to fill in the losses.
We have a lot of questions in the chat. People are just Retro Nerd Girl says amazing restoration. Lagbait says that title card.
Yeah.
Fletcher Williams says this is amazing work. Liam in Wales says looks amazing. Party Pucks, wow, looks great. People are just like, they're just ecstatic. But here's some of the specific questions that people are asking. Sparta 300 says, I'm curious, what do you think about the progression in science fiction special effects from what you had to work with in the 50s and the leap George Lucas made with the original Star Wars in 1977?
Jimmy, do you want to take that, or do you want to devolve it?
Well, you know, I want to say one thing here was the fact that after I got out of the movies and I retired when I was like 14, I had made 42 movies at that point, and it was one of those things that I was into sports. I wanted to play sports in high school. I couldn't do that and do movies, so I opted out of movies.
Here he was working with Jane Russell and Bob Mitchum and people like this, and he'd rather play baseball.
That's right. No,
that's why he's the great guy that he is, because he never went to Hollywood.
Silly me, you know. But no, and the thing is that after that, and I went through the typical teenage years. Had hot rods and played football and baseball in high school, and same old thing. Used to drive up and down Hollywood Boulevard, on cruise night and do those kind of things. But in regard to that question, I didn't go back and really watch a lot of movies until my sons took me to see Star Wars, the original. And after I came out of that movie, I said, wow, movies are great again. And so that was, as I look back, I never thought that Invaders from Mars was such a terrific film. I had, like I said, there was others that I made I thought were better, but I still get fan mail from all over the world in regard to Invaders from Mars. And it's been that way for the last 70 years.
Wow.
I think one of the big differences between Star Wars, say, and Jimmy's movie, Invaders, is that Star Wars can be about special effects. They're very dominant, and there are a lot of them all the time, and they're big. Invaders is more of a people story, and the effects happen mostly in the last third, and they happen simply to advance the story on. You don't stop to watch a Death Star blow up. You know, you won't have someone like Peter Cushing or whoever it is that make the comment about a million. Oh, Alec Guinness says a million souls have just cried out. You know, it's not about that. You've got, and it was done for a budget. Star Wars has a pretty nice landing pad financially. Invaders was done. What did you shoot in, Jimmy? 3 weeks?
We did that in about 3.5 weeks, and I think they did it for under $300,000,
which is amazing. And what they had in spades was the talent of William Cameron Menzies, who is perhaps the greatest production designer of all time. His credits include Gone with the Wind and King's Row and The Devil and Miss Jones and so many pictures that you know and don't know, because he sometimes came on as a adjunct and didn't sign them. And he directed a handful of films. He was never as successful as a director as a visual designer, because his movies are like graphic novels, the angles and all. One of the angles that it's interesting how we all seem to share the same response. One shot that's always bowled me over is when Helena Carter has passed out, and she's on the glass lucite table about to be have her brain probed by the Martians, and there's this swirling violet needle coming to her neck. And the shot is like this, and she's lying there totally oblivious. Everyone responds to that shot. The innocent sleeping woman with danger slowly coming up on her. It doesn't leave you. And the special effect there is just a mechanical device. The Martian and the Globe is an image, our friend here, the Supreme Intelligence. Jimmy can tell you a fun story, because the Supreme Intelligence was played by a little person named Luz Potter. And Jimmy's family knew her. He walked on the set, and there's Ms. Potter sitting in her street clothes on an apple box with this thing on her head and all the makeup on. And Jimmy said, "Oh, hi, Mrs. Potter." Tell the story, Jim. His mom went to high school with her.
My mom went to high school with her. And all of a sudden, here she is, yeah, I got to work with a lot of little people in Hollywood. Because they were stand-ins and things like that. But yes, that was, she did a great job, her eyes moving back.
The eyes, yeah.
Yep.
That implacable expression. And for years we wondered, about that. And I used to have discussions in college with friends. Was it played by an American Indian, a Native American? We're looking at the facial structures, trying to, figure out, and they always refer to it in the masculine. You don't know, and we found out I believe she was of Portuguese descent. Jimmy, is that her? Do you know?
Hey, she was Luz Potter, as far as I was concerned.
Luz is an Hispanic name, but I'm told she's not Mexican. So, so she's got some non-Caucasian blood that gives her the look of the cheekbones, and under the gold makeup, that slightly different look, because her features are not traditional American features. And all Munchies has her do is dart her eyes. She gives a command. She looks left. She looks right. We have a sequence of that, don't we? Of Jimmy encountering her in the Globe.
I was not sent that, but I do have some. The question that keeps coming up.
I could send it to you if you'd like. Is it possible to email it to you?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, we could. I don't know how to get it to you right now. We have a lot of questions.
Okay.
People are kind of going. So let's get some of these questions to you. But the main question that keeps coming up is, when does this become available? This 4K version.
The disc is expected to street in September of this year.
Okay.
There's a website Ignite has put up for advance orders.
Sure.
They're doing 1,000 units with a special commemorative poster that Jimmy will be signing, and that release is limited to 1,000. It's $70, including free shipping. Sometime later, there will be a wide distribution at a somewhat lower price point. It won't include the poster, and I'm not sure what other extras physically it may include in it. Though the disc extras, the featurette and interview with John Sayles hosting TCM, we are hoping to have on there. The original trailer, the foreign versions that we saw the clip from, the foreign ending itself where Jimmy's taken back home and put to bed. That's a hoot, Jimmy. I don't think you're even in that scene. They used a close-up of him from the original shooting. And as Arthur Franz begins to make noise, Helena Carter puts her fingers to her lips and says, "Shh, the little man has had a busy day." And we get Jimmy sleeping and just fade out. He saved the world. And,
Scott, what's the website?
Let me see that I have the address handy here for you, and I will read it out to you.
Okay.
The website is...
I think it's invadersfrommars1953.com. Is that it?
In the main web, yes. The main
website
I found it. Is ignite-films.com.
Oh wow, this is a cool website. I just found it.
And if one wishes to beat the herd and order one of the 1,000 special units, which were issued to commemorate the TCM Film Festival, there is a discount code you need to enter, which is on the website. Invaders, capital TCM 2022 !
Wait, I'm gonna have to. What is that again? The discount.
Invaders with a capital I and then capital TCM 2022 ! And that will get you the discount code to save you the shipping. And you order that at one word, invadersfrommars1953.com. That's where you go to order one of the 1,000 special units. The main Ignite website is ignite-films.com.
Got it. There you go. So to check that out. Let's get to some of these questions. There's a lot.
Is there going to be a screening somewhere, a special screening, or?
Well, there just was at the Turner Classic Movies Festival. The film debuted there last week with Jimmy and the family attending. We had a sold-out house, and John Sayles did the introduction. He's a director I admire tremendously, and when I heard he was introing the film, I couldn't figure out why, because this is the director of Matewan and Return of the Secaucus 7 and Liana and 8 Men Out. And of course, he gives his lecture and he says, well, I saw this movie in 1962 on TV in black and white, and it scared me to death. He's another member of the club. John Landis made the same comment. He said, well, I can't use the phrase John used. It's a little too colorful. But everybody around 8 years old, right now we're part of a generation that caught it on those first TV broadcasts, and it has stuck with us for all those years.
Like I said, I saw it when I was a kid, late night, and it's haunted me ever since. We have some comments.
Let's get to some questions before these people get.
They're coming in like I can't keep up. But let's get the comments here. We answered when it's available. It's coming out in September. You can pre-order it. And I do think, like, I actually got I got a restoration that Fox put out of the original Lost in Space series, which comes with, like, the first few episodes come with the commercials as aired in the 60s. So these kind of things, like, that are very limited edition, just a few thousand.
That's a very tough thing to do. When I was at Disney and we were doing Davy Crockett's, we wanted to do that, and there was a lot of concern from the legal department about doing that because of the sponsorships and all. Right. And I know at one point somebody in home video doing production for them wanted to include Peter Pan peanut butter commercials because they were sponsors. Disney had just done the cartoon. And they were told no by legal. So they contacted somebody at Peter Pan and they said, we'd love to have you do that. And so
I love when that stuff is preserved. I saw Leonard Maltin once give a presentation at the Telluride Film Festival.
I was there with Leonard, yeah.
So do you know the presentation he does about like the Disney's Lost Treasures?
That was my presentation, not Leonard's.
Oh, okay. So I was
that was
there.
I at Telluride doing the Disney's Lost.
This is in the late 90s. So you were
yes,
probably
that
there.
was me you saw. Hi.
Okay, you were there. I saw that more than
I
20
wasn't
years
just
ago.
there. I was that presentation.
Okay.
And it went over gangbusters so much that Bill Pence had to find another slot to schedule a second showing because they turned so many people away from it.
What was this, 90? Was it 97 or anyways? All I remember was it was one of the greatest things, and none of that stuff will ever be seen. It'll never be seen. It's locked in a vault. It's some of the stuff is even like a lot of the war propaganda that they use Disney characters in animation.
War propaganda stuff was issued on DVD in a steel case set that Leonard hosted. Whether it will ever come back now, I don't know. But
it'll never come back. You know that what they're doing.
It's probably a collector's item, but they did collate all of the war shorts, and they issued them once. In that there was a 5-package deal that Leonard did of Disney material. And Education for Death was on there, and Out of the Frying Pan into the Fire, all together, all those wartime shorts.
Well, let's go through some of these comments here. We got when it's available, September. Patrick Lemire says, I hope we don't lose miniatures, matte paintings, and optical effects. Real light hitting real things has a special quality.
And he's right.
Musophonic Recording says, gonna have to buy a 4K player now. Internet Rec Room says a golden era. And then let's see. Liam in Wales says, how hard was it to restore the audio?
The audio was fairly straightforward. We had sources on the 2 Cinecolor prints and on one of the other prints, and it was a matter of filling sonic holes where there were breaks. We chose our A quality, what had the best audio. It was one of the Cinecolor versions, and then denoising, declicking. It was pretty routine. There was nothing terribly complex about it beyond what you normally do with audio restoration. We did not have any music and effects track or music only tracks. Those would have been a great help if we had. They don't seem to exist. So someplace in the world there is an M&E. I did have a copy of an M&E, but it was off a cassette, and the sonic quality was so weak and muffled, it wasn't worth, wasting people's time by trying to add it onto the disc, and it was too low quality to utilize in any way, shape, or form. Where I've had high quality music and effects tracks, like on some of the David Selznick titles I did, we often would replace whole non-dialogue sequences with the M&E because they were a generation higher in the old optical mix system. So they had less noise and more clarity. And we were able to do that in things like Garden of Allah and Rebecca. And it was a very, very trick thing to do, and very nice and worthwhile. Invaders, we didn't have that luxury, unfortunately.
Well, Nate D says, I love this guy's stories. So there you go. And Fletcher Williams says, Invaders from Mars is such a classic. In Invaders, the effects were at the end more story driven. Do you see that now the story suffers to make way for effects? Like in modern movies?
I don't think it does.
No.
Yeah. James Kelly asks, what did the actors get paid? I don't know if you want to answer that.
It was my first starring film. Okay, I was always been with actor, and finally made the starring film. And I think, I'm not sure, because of course I never knew how much I really got paid. I have no idea, but I think it was like $1,000 a week.
Wow.
So nearly $4,000.
Yeah, and
no, 1952 was a very healthy piece of change.
Yeah, that probably was actually decent.
But no residuals, right?
No, SAG did not have residuals in those days.
Yeah.
Why So Serious asks, when you restore a film, what are your feelings about the overseas cut?
I would never utilize it for public showing, but the scenes had to be preserved, and they're shown as extras just for the curiosity value. We all know, most of us that know the film, we all know it exists. So you're going to want to see it for completeness' sake and for historical purposes. So we've included them there for that. But no, I would not put them back in the film. That was done once in 1976. There was a pseudo restoration done at that time, and they cut both endings together. So Jimmy starts running down the hill, and the dream montage starts. Then they cut to, the foreign version where they hide behind the tank, and they see the saucer lift off and explode in the sky, which is just a reverse printing and an overlay optical of the original landing. And then they dropped the observatory scene into it, so his clothes popped on and off. It was ridiculous. No.
Patrick Lemire says Invaders from Mars has atmosphere, visual, and sonic. Sparta 300 asks, did movies like Invaders from Mars help inspire Forbidden Planet?
I don't know that they did. Forbidden Planet was kind of an anomaly. That's, for those that don't know, the MGM picture released in 1956. It introduced our friend here, Robbie the Robot. He's spending his retirement with me. This is actually one of his children. The real Robbie recently sold at auction for nearly $1 million, I think. But that was probably on the boards for a long time. I don't know that Invaders made a lot of money. People that have looked into it tell me that a lot of the 1950s science fiction films did not make as much money as we think they did. But they must have made some because they kept on making them. And you don't repeat a formula if it's not making money for someone. Right. But they're very unlike, Forbidden Planet is very unlike Invaders. Right. It's set on a foreign world, and an American crew in the future lands on an outpost and finds the only survivor to be one scientist and his daughter, and a mysterious force is roaming the planet. It killed the entire crew, but he and his wife initially, and so it's a whole different spin. Very, very good film, fun film. Like Invaders, it's very studio bound. Yeah. And Jim can tell you about the sets on Invaders. There's a lot of diversity, don't you think, to the sets?
Yeah,
hillside, and you've got the police station and Jimmy's bedroom, but they're not as diverse as you might think they are. They shot the whole thing on the Mabel Normand stage at Republic Studios. Jim, tell us about that.
Yes, we made the hillside was on the stage, the police station, the house, just about everything that you see, except for some of the chase scenes with my parents when the MPs were chasing them. That was all done outside of Republic Studios. But most of that was all done on one stage. And
so they could just turn the camera around and you're on the hillside, and bing, you're in Jimmy's bedroom on the right, and bing, you're over here. You're in Kathy Wilson's house. It was fabulous how they. It was a very large stage, one of the biggest in Hollywood.
Right.
Jimmy, what were your feelings watching the restored print at CCM?
I was amazed because, of course, growing up, I got married and had a family. And of course, for the people on the West Coast, there was the old $1 Million movie where they would show the movies, all week long on Channel 11, I think it was. Anyway, and I would, that was the only movie I think I ever told my sons, you guys got to sit down and watch this. But we never really talked too much about me being in the movies, because that was something that I did and I retired from.
Jimmy, you play Leif Erikson's son in 2 movies, didn't you? You're also in Sorry, Wrong Number, right?
Sorry, Wrong Number. He was my dad in that movie, yes.
Leif Erikson's the father in Invaders, and Jimmy had quite a moment with him during the filming.
Yeah, I'll have to tell you about that. Leif Erikson's a big man, and when he was in the scene where the police they go out to try to see if they can find the father, and they come back. I come in the house and I'm supposed to come up and hit a mark that they have on the floor, and I missed the mark by about 2 inches. he turns around and swings, and he's supposed to hit me and knock me down, of course. So I'm all ready when he comes that big swing. I'm ready to go down on the floor. Well, I missed the mark, so now I'm too close. And when he hit me, I went down. And I mean, I went down. Boy, did I go down. And I looked up, and, you know, that's when they said, print. That's it. We're going to take it. Because it really did. I mean, it knocked the heck out of me.
Well, here's a question from Fletcher Williams. What did you think of the remake?
Okay. I was all excited when they heard about the fact that they were going to do the remake. And in my my life after movies, I was a industrial sales manager for a company, and we sold to all the aerospace firms. And one of the aerospace firms that I used to call on all the time was Lockheed. And I'd go in and see it, and I'd see all these engineers, and the one engineer was into movies, and he said, you know, they're going to remake that movie. And I said, well, hey, that's great. That's really cool. And he said, you know what, you should be in that. You should really be in that. So he kept writing to the production office, I guess. And finally, they agreed, and they had me come out, and I did a kind of on-set interview with Toby Hooper, the director, and he said, yeah, okay, we'd like to have you do a cameo role for us, be the chief of police. So I agreed to do that. And I thought, oh, this is going to be so good, because now they have all these special effects and everything's going to work out just great. It's going to be fantastic. Unfortunately, they didn't have Menzies directing it. They didn't have it was still going to be a dream sequence, but it just didn't work out. And unfortunately, that was the only movie in my whole career that I got paid any residuals on. And so thank you very much. Every once in a while, you know, the Screen Actors Guild sends me a check for like $9 because people have watched it on pay TV somewhere. And but no, it just didn't come out. It was really.
Jimmy, in your scene, you do meet an old friend. Is that correct?
Well, speaking of that, I actually have the scene. We can watch it if you like. Let's do that. And then I've got probably 5 or 6 more questions if you don't mind.
I understand Svengoolie is running this remake Saturday night, so it may be all it deserves. But
all right, well, here we go. I was just sent this, so let's watch it. This is the scene that you referenced earlier, so let's take a look at that. Here we go. It's labeled Supreme Intelligence Mind Probe.
Well, this is not the Toby Hooper movie. This is Jimmy, demanding of the intelligence that he lets Helena Carter go, and that's Luz Potter with the amazing movement.
Great eyes, yep.
And there's the high-tech mind probe machine that's going to insert the gadget in the back of her neck and take her mind and make her a robot.
Nice. Let's get back to some of these questions here, because there's a lot. And this is an interesting one from Turo. And I actually agree with him. 2005's War of the Worlds by Steven Spielberg looks like it took the trees and fencing background look and feel in the Fighting Begins scene, almost straight from Invaders from Mars. There's even tanks and military. I felt that too.
I think Turo is a very wise man. And there's a TCM documentary nearly 20 years old called Keep Watching the Skies about 50s science fiction. And Mr. Spielberg's interviewed. And he says, Invaders from Mars, man, that turned my world upside down. And then he tells a story about going to see it as a kid in Phoenix, Arizona, 5 times.
Wow.
So I think Mr. Turo is onto something.
There was something about it that was very reminiscent. It was definitely
now, the trees and the fencing are a Menzies that's a real hallmark of Menzies' work. You see it in Our Town in the opening scenes where the narrator, played by Frank Craven, walks up a hillock on a fence and stands there to introduce the story. And there's the bare tree. Gone with the Wind, Scarlet and Red are fleeing on the eve of war. and they stop on a hillock with a split rail fence and have their goodbye love scene. It's it's like Luz Potter's eyes and the Mind Probe. That hillside is something we never forget. Once seen, for some reason, that just sticks with us.
Another question about the Blu-ray: is there an audio commentary for the film?
That's not thoroughly decided. I was hoping that there would be. There's one person who is really the top expert on his history, and I don't know whether or not he's available or agreeable to doing the commentary. So keep watching this space.
No, there you go. Well, you could probably do the commentary along with Jimmy.
The problem is, if I did the commentary, I would be borrowing too heavily from this individual who's written the definitive. I think Jimmy knows who I mean, because he interviewed everybody back in the 70s that worked on the film. And so he spoke to cameraman John Seitz and Murray Yerke, the script supervisor, and Boris Levin, the art director, and the actors. And it's, it would not be fair for me to take that man's hard-won research and recycle it myself.
Yeah. Fletcher Williams.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Fletcher Williams asked, how did you secure funding for the restoration? It seems like it's expensive.
It is expensive. I don't know the budget. I was not privy to that, but it was financed privately by Ignite Films. It was not done under a grant or an archive, a gift or any kind of a film foundation grant. It was privately funded by the owner.
Well, you could probably just go to Elon Musk and just restore all of the movies. That he could probably afford that. Goober asks, what software suite was used for restoration?
Let's see, what did they use? The scans were done. See, mostly I believe the scans were a Director 4K. They were done in Europe. I know the shots that we did here, the reels that we did do here, were on a Director. I imagine there's some variety of DRS. I don't have the particular software brand at my fingertips. You'll have to pardon me.
Okay.
There's so much in my brain it can't all stay on active drive. A lot of it gets, filed off into my plug-in hard drive.
I hear you, Scott. Derek Douglas asks, what other sci-fi movies has Scott saved?
See, the only other picture I can think of that has a sci-fi theme that I saved is a Republic film called SOS Tidal Wave from 1939. The nitrate camera negative for that is at UCLA. And it's an odd picture. It's one that I love the description of, and it was impossible to see for years. We had the nitrate negative in the Republic collection, and I pulled it one day to check it and found that it was decomposing. The ends, heads and tails were rotting out. So we got in touch with Paramount, who now own that library, and had them send in their fine grain, which was made in 1952 at Republic's lab, consolidated. And it's, in its 73rd year, it's got vinegar syndrome. So it was real important that we start working on this right away. The plot is really crazy. It's 1939 and television is everywhere because it was coming at that time. Only World War II prevented us having television by the early 40s. All the research got put off and no implementation until after the war. But they really thought it was going to be there. So their conceit is we all have TV. And there's a mayoral election going on in New York. And the villains, the bad guys, decide they're going to steal the election. And how to do that, but use television. It was on the wings of the Orson Welles' War of the Worlds broadcast. That was the inspiration. And so they stage a fake newsreel using an old Hollywood science fiction movie to show a tidal wave heading for New York. And everybody runs in panic the day rather than going to the polls. And Ralph Byrd's the main reporter who's following it and all. And someone, they don't name the cities that are already being inundated, allegedly, or knowing about it. This one guy looks out and he says, I wonder about this. So he calls another guy at the New York desk and says, what's going on up there? He goes, oh, nothing. We got a little bit of rain, but nothing. And he says, what? So they realize it's a hoax. But meanwhile, the hoax is lifted from a 1933 science fiction picture called Deluge, where a comet approaches the Earth and destroys the world. And then that's the opening 2 reels, and the rest of the film is the gag of survivors post-apocalyptic world. It's what'll happen after climate change has its way.
Yeah.
But its time, the effects were very spectacular. Ned Mann, who Menzies used on Things to Come, built all the miniatures of Manhattan and the Statue of Liberty, and they had breakaway miniatures and the dump tanks bringing waves in, and Statue of Liberty holding her torch above the water. You know, it looks like a bunch of toys having fun today, but in 1933, it was kind of exciting. That was the same year, of course, King Kong broke ground with special effects. And while the picture was released by RKO, who handled King Kong, it was an independent film produced by Admiral Pictures. And the guys that ran Admiral were among the founders of Republic. So clearly they took the film with them. And the film was lost. It didn't exist from 1940 until recently because they cut the camera negative up into SOS Tidal Wave. And we've now found a dupe negative in France, and Lobster Films has put it out. Thankfully, the dupe negative has the American soundtrack, so it's all there now. But that was the fate of it. It wound up inside another movie. And
wow.
That, to me, is the only other science fiction definitive film I can think of that I've had my nasty little fingers on.
And that Brandon Steinbeck 420 asks, what's your next project, Scott?
I'm in retirement now, and I like playing with my granddaughter and tending to my Jack Russells. And but of course, when Ignite knocked on the door, I was ready. I'd begun discussing the possibility of this with Ignite over a decade ago when I first met Jan Willem, because he was even then interested. I can't recall if he had already located the camera negative or if he found that shortly after. But it was a long time coming. So I'm hoping for my next project.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, you have to stay. I'm sure your granddaughter's amazing. She'll understand when you're going to be working on something else now. She'll totally.
It's been
understand.
very gratifying to restore a picture like this that I've loved all my life. My very last act at UCLA was to approve and sign off the final 4K master of another one of my favorite films that's been crying out for decades to be restored, and that's All That Money Can Buy with Walter Houston, the Devil and Daniel Webster.
Wow.
And again, we had an 85-minute negative for a 109-minute movie, and we had the German dupe negative and put it all back together, picture and sound, and it looks like it looks wonderful now. And I screened that at the vendor, approved it, got in my car, and drove home. But it was nice to have that picture done under my belt.
Well,
two of the other ones that I enjoyed very much doing were the 2 Warner Brothers Technicolor horror films, Wax Museum and Dr. X, which we did for the Film Foundation in the last few years in early 2-color Technicolor. Again, those are movies Wax Museum had been lost until about 1970 when they found a sole print at the studio in Jack Warner's collection, and they've got copied several times, quote, restored, and always looked like garbage. I had been at the initial screening of the nitrate print at Lincoln Center when I was in 10th grade. I bought a ticket through the mail and took the train down that morning and sat through it that afternoon, and I never saw it look that way again until we got the restoration done.
Well, this is amazing to talk to you both, Jimmy Hunt, Scott McQueen. Just thank you so much for spending time
Jimmy,
with us.
do you have any last thoughts or
final thoughts, Jimmy?
I'm just really happy that they did this and that it came out. I mean, it's kind of fun to kind of be kind of relive the celebrity type thing. It's been 70 years since we did that, so it's a fun thing, and it's my grandkids and great grandkids. They're all excited about it, and so it was fun, and we had a really great time at the TCM festival. I mean, that was really just a blast, and So again, it's fun to kind of be back, but not have to live that kind of life.
Jimmy, in passing, as you look back, can you tell us how you got started?
Yeah, it was kind of being at the right place at the right time. I was going to school about 6 blocks from MGM, and we lived over in near the Culver City area of California, and so they were getting ready to shoot a movie, and they needed someone to play the part of Van Johnson as a little boy. And they looked through Hollywood, and they couldn't find anybody that they thought we could do it. So they came to the schools, and myself and a couple other kids got picked out of our class, and we went and we did a screen test. Only thing I can remember about that was the fact that I was like, 6 going on 7. So
But you had red hair and freckles.
I had reddish hair and freckles, yeah, and which I hated both. But anyway, they came. They brought me. My second grade teacher brought me home and told my mom that I needed to go to MGM and for this deal, and that's how it all started. And 42 movies later, I did Hollywood farewell and went and lived a normal life.
It's interesting how you played Leif Erikson's son in Sorry Wrong Number, but you did a picture with Dick Powell and Elizabeth Scott and Jane Wyman called Pitfall, a film noir. And in that movie, you're Dick and Jane's kid, and you wake up in the night with a nightmare, and and Dick Powell comes in and says, "What's the matter, fella?" You say, "Oh, they were at the window. They tried to get me." And he goes, "Where?" And he looks out the window, and you're like, "Well, they're not there now." And as he's trying to calm you down, he picks up a comic book or a science fiction magazine and looks at it and says, "Well, this is what's doing it." Right. Piece for you. And of course, in Invaders, there's the wonderful line where Hillary Brooke is trying to abduct him in her evil self, dressed in black at the police station. And Helena Carter, dressed in white with the red kerchief floating on her heart, is the doctor. She saves him. And Hillary Brooke looks at him and says, "What has he been telling you? He's been reading those trashy science fiction magazines." And I thought, my God, he started this 5 years before with Dick Powell reading them.
The one thing I have to say is the fact that I was there for like 7 years, and in those 7 years, in all those movies I made, I never really had any bad experiences, with directors or with the other actors. Everybody treated me really well, and so it was a good experience for me.
It's great to hear that after you hear so many tales of child actors who were broken by their time in the trenches of Hollywood. And I've never understood why so many of them turn out to have such miserable lives, because you clearly did not. And Richard Eyre did not.
I have to give credit to my parents.
Exactly. And that's what it seems to come down to.
They were, there was no rhyme or reason for us to be in the movies. I mean, my sister and myself, my parents didn't want us in that area. And so when I got those parts, that we went along with it, and they put the money aside for me to go to college and stuff. And so when I got to that age, I did go to school, and then I joined the Army and went off to Europe for 3 years and intercepted and broke code, which was kind of a cool thing, and met my wife in Germany and brought her home, and we've been together now. We're going to celebrate our 60th wedding anniversary here coming in January.
Well, a quick question for you, Jimmy. Shelby AC asks, "Oh my gosh, did Jimmy work with Barbara Stanwyck in Sorry Wrong Number?"
I met her, but I don't know if I had any really scenes with her.
Okay.
But I did meet her, and I've got some autographed pictures from her where she sent that for us, and so it was kind of cool.
Great. And
Jimmy, somebody has asked that you give us your signature line in closing.
Yeah, here we go. Well, can I just say real quick before you both go? I want to remind people that you can get Invaders from Mars, the original 1953 movie, in a 4K restoration special.
It will be available
DVD.
as a UHD, 4K, and Blu-ray. Your choice of formats.
Exactly, and it's out, and you can, or it's not out. It will be out in September.
In September, yeah.
You can get it from ignite-films.com. And you can just go right there. We'll put the link in the description of this video, but it's also scrolling along the bottom. You can grab yourself a pen and paper. But to take us out, Jimmy, would you someone's asking, Dark Aerofant says, can we get another Gee Whiz? Like right out of the movie, give us a Gee Whiz.
You can have another Gee Whiz. Here we go. Are you ready? Yeah. Gee Whiz.
Thank you,
Thank
Jimmy
you.
and Scott. Thank you so much for being here today. It's really just been a pleasure having you here, and I'm so glad that like a movie like that haunted me as a kid. I seriously contributed to nightmares. To see it in this kind of restoration, it really is a labor of love, because I don't know a lot of people who work in film restoration who have butlers. It's what I'm saying is not that there's not money in it, but it's just like this is truly done by people who are passionate and care.
When you're a worker bee in the front lines, you're not making money with a capital M. It's a job like anyone else's. You're able to pay your mortgage and feed your family, and that's about it. But most people that are involved heavily with it, they do it because they love it. And it's an odd thing, because film is a very odd muse. It often doesn't give back. I was in production for 10 years, and that was pretty painful. It's not a happy environment. But when you're restoring things that have meaning for you and you want to see them carried on, I think I get particularly emotional when I see a film that's in bad straits that's about to go away, and you got to figure out ways to save it while you can. And when you succeed at that and succeed reasonably well, that's very fulfilling, and it makes it worthwhile. Gee whiz.
Well, I can't keep up with all the people saying, thank you to both of you. So
thank you. I want to tell you, thank you very much, Chris and Alan, for being there and for bringing this back up. It always amazed me how many people that film influenced, and we're going to start on a new generation with this restoration.
I think so.
So we're going to have the parents and the grandparents, the parents, and now the kids, of that era are going to come and enjoy this movie.
Well, you're getting all this love in the chat, but I just want to say, Scott and Jimmy, for me, thank you so much. And Jimmy, you when I was a kid, this movie just blew my mind, haunted me, and to meet you here is just great. So thank you. Everyone in the chat is loving you here. Got over 100 people watching, so thank you again. And I can't wait to see the 4K in September.
It's really great. It really is. It blew my mind, and I think that hurry up and get me some of the first 1,000 so you can get that autograph poster.
That's awesome.
Because I'm going to have to sign each and every one.
Are you signing them now, or are they already signed?
You'll see some poor guy with his hand. It's all.
Well, thank you so much. Take care, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And gee whiz.
Gee whiz.
Can I see the back of your neck?
Later.
Can I see the back of your neck?
Oh no!
Oh wow!
My God, they were great.
That was a
oh
lesson.
My God, that's
was
fantastic. Well, I mean, I've been fortunate enough when you have an opportunity to like get these special editions that are only available like through that's how I got Lost in Space in this box set, which I've never seen. It's the Blu-ray of Lost in Space, and it comes with the first couple episodes have like the original commercials, and it looks amazing. And so when you have an opportunity to get these, because they do low runs, right? Like they do, like this is why stuff like this is so important. And I know that we're all nerds here, so I really want to thank Scott and Jimmy for coming by. So thank you guys.
Amazing. Yeah,
that was awesome. We're gonna get to your chats and kind of wrap things up here, but I really thank Nate D says best film threat live stream yet. Civil Gore Tim says that was incredible. So many you guys are awesome. Solomon Thornton says love Lost in Space. And then I don't know, I'm having keeping up here. Liam in Wales, always wonder who the plaster face was on his wall. Wonder if it was, we should have asked. There you go. That was so cool. That was amazing. That was great. Eric K here. Thank you, Eric K. This is cool. This episode deserves a commercial for it. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know. We're still, I just have to say here, we are still figuring out kind of what we're doing. I mean, we had a weird issue with getting we were monetized, then we were not monetized, then we're monetized and we're not monetized. We'll figure it out. But I thank all the people saying, the super chats. Look, hopefully we'll have it resolved by Friday. But yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like Scott could talk for days.
I could listen to him for days.
Mr. Gore, Mr. Ing, you've turned a regular Wednesday night into such a great night. Yeah, well, it's sort of Wednesday's like the middle of the week. It's hump day. It's like where would I be on a night like tonight? I'd probably just be at happy hour going to see a movie. And I just want to hang out with you guys. And look at this, pre-ordered, says Shadow Fenrir 24. Pre-ordered, off topic, but makes me excited for the restoration of Romero's Martin film. Yeah, so fantastic interview. Keep up the great content. Hail Film Thread. Brandon Steinbeck 420. I know what that 420 means. A commercial from the Film Threat Sucks girl. Yeah, let's throw a little love here from Why Not. Let's just throw her up. Let's throw her up right now.
These movie reviews are delicious. Film Threat Sucks.
And just on time, the webcam stuff is coming in. The spam is here.
Yeah.
Oh my!
They're usually on it so much earlier. I don't know what's happening.
Well, there you go. Melodic Method says this was the best chill out and drink ever. Yeah, it's just this is nerdy stuff. I like to take kind of a deep dive into stuff. So Jeff Brooks says about to mail you a gift package, Chris. Oh, well, thank you, Jeff. Jeff, in your package, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. You just send it to Film Threat, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California 90036. Put a self-addressed stamped envelope. It's an envelope addressed to you from me. I'll throw some stickers, maybe some other special surprises.
Put 2 stamps.
The more stamps you put on, and if you send me a padded envelope, I'll probably just send you a DVD. Why not? I don't care. We get a lot of DVDs. And a lot of stuff. What's that? What'd you say, Alan?
Is Dick Shark still available? Do you still have that?
I am out of DVDs of Dick Shark. I have a bunch of other stuff though. I have other stuff. If you send me something that'll fit a DVD, I can probably throw you a free DVD, a Film Threat sticker, and a pin. How about that? Then you can do a video just like Alan. I really want you to do one of these videos. This is my favorite one. Right here.
Holy fucking shit, these reviews are delicious.
There you go. And then James Kelly says, remember, Alan, when you get to your screening tonight, those sticky floors ain't split Coke. Ooh, yeah, that's right. You're in San Francisco. Ryan Landis, Chris, would you ever consider doing a new review of the old classic Dead Alive from Peter Jackson's early days? First of all, I love that movie. You can never look at a lawnmower, and I used to mow my lawn as a kid. This is the thing that really annoys me. Can I go? This is I'm just gonna have a segment called the gory details. We might spin that off into a separate show where I just tell stories and stuff. But when I was a kid, I mowed the lawn every week. That was how I earned my allowance. So my mom would give me a couple bucks, which I would use. Then I actually helped a friend of mine with his paper route. He gave me a couple bucks. What did I do? I saved up money. I bought Aurora model kits, comic books, a candy bar here and there. I didn't care about candy as much as I cared about comic books. But yeah, I used to mow the lawn, and Dead Alive. Well, mowing, you will never look at mowing a lawnmower the same every time. But Dead Alive, Peter Jackson back in the day, like we covered that movie back then. That and Meet the Feebles, another early. It's so funny that like I remember when I heard Peter Jackson was going to make Lord of the Rings, I'm like, the Meet the Feebles guy, the guy who did Dead Alive, like what? But yeah, I would love to do that. Might be a fun thing. Maybe we should do a separate show called like retro reviews. I mean, there's something that. Yeah, well, is that a sequel to Sharktopusy? No. Okay. Oh, and can you guys have Nadia Sold on to talk about her upcoming doc on Larry Flint? Musophonic Recordings, guess what? I already interviewed her. It's on the Film Threat YouTube channel. So if you go to the Film Threat YouTube channel, you can actually just search the channel. I interviewed Nadia. We bonded and had a great conversation. I told stories about when I was at Larry Flint. So go and just Musophonic Recordings. Go just search the channel. I already interviewed her. The doc, unfortunately, it's only played film festivals. It's not out commercially. However, when Nadia's documentary is out commercially, here's my promise to you, Musophonic Recordings. She will be on this show live and you can talk to her. How about that? Because we totally bonded and like we're emailing each other after and talking, because making a period documentary is a totally different type of documentary. So that was great. One thing I actually kind of want to talk about a little bit, and I know, Alan, you've got to go. When do you have to leave, Alan?
Oh no, I've got another hour.
All right,
going that long.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, Musophonic Recordings, Nadia Sold. Check it out on the channel. We had a great conversation. There you go. I'm sorry. I'm trying to Musophonic Recordings. You're the man. All right, fine. It's good. Yeah.
I think it's We're the Men, or You're the Man.
Civil Gore Tim, my granddad owned the diner that they run past and machine gun the drive-through at the end of Maximum Overdrive. I love stuff like that. Like I went to this is maybe a couple years ago, before the before times. I went to the Twin Pines Mall. What would become the Twin Pines Mall, the mall where they shot Back to the Future, which is great because you could see like, oh my God, that's the parking lot. Like it's kind of a rundown mall now, to be honest. What's so funny is it's kind of like the future of,
of the Back to the Future.
In Back to the Future Part 2, it's kind of become that. It's a little run down.
Well, the Frida Cinema is doing Darkman, and my grandfather's restaurant is in Darkman.
Oh, Darkman, what a classic. James Kelly, get Ornella Moody, please. Ornella Moody, of course, from Flash Gordon. I believe she passed away. And that's very sad. But
how's that? That's not going to stop us.
I did go to a retrospective screening of, it was a double feature. It was Flash Gordon. Then I saw the documentary about Flash Gordon, which I'm in very briefly. I'm in briefly in that movie. And I was obsessed with Flash Gordon. I loved Star Wars and like anything genre that came out, The Black Hole, Flash Gordon, Blade Runner, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. When I was like a kid, like those movies were amazing. It was like 1982 was like this insane year of like great genre movies coming out, which was awesome. Solomon Thornton, The Northman, what a film. Totally agree. So I tuned in late. No super chat, says Jeff Brooks. No, it's disabled, and I'm embarrassed. Yeah, really.
You should have said that. You shouldn't have made that comment. And now we got to get it.
That is not working.
We're doing the appeals.
That means when we come back, everybody's got to do double super chats. No, I don't care. We did this channel for years before we even got monetized. And so whatever. Okay, this is great. Not the Batman says only 2 Jets quarterbacks are known for winning the Super Bowl, and one of them is fictional. Flash Gordon. Yeah, there you go. Oh my God. Yeah, what can you do? Flash Gordon. But yeah, $2. So earlier today, I did the Nerdrotic Nooner with Gary Beekler and Quarter Black Garrett. It was a fun show. We talked about a lot of stuff really about like social media. I don't divert too much into politics here. There are other podcasts and places that do that better than I do. And so I'd rather just, talk about $2. Always you can never go wrong with the $2 comment. Can't go wrong with it. This is distracting. We're just going to go with the comments here. You guys know the address by now. But yeah, George Lucas wanted to do Flash Gordon and he couldn't get the rights. And he worked on it for a while and he was just like, I'm just going to make my own thing.
Yeah.
And then just sort of threw everything into a blender, a little bit of Flash Gordon, a little bit of Marvel Comics, a little bit of Dune, a little bit of a lot of stuff, threw it in a blender. And then, and there you go. Fletcher Williams says, the Nooner was epic, Chris. One thing I talked about on the Nooner, I want to just impart to all of you, is we talked about, and I love when I talk to someone who I respect as like nerd knowledge and I know something they don't know, because the whole thing is no one can know everything. None of us can know everything. So what I try to do is like, okay, here's something I don't know about that you know about. And I had mentioned to Gary a Marvel comic series that blew my mind as a kid called Strike Force Muraturi that I think is one of the best Marvel comics no one knows about. It wasn't necessarily a limited series. It was sort of out of the Marvel universe. It was set in the future. And it's a great science fiction comic series, Strike Force Muraturi. We'll talk about it one day. But I talked about on the Nooner today, I discussed this thing called the Starlost. Have you ever heard of the Starlost, Alan?
No.
Okay. When I was a kid watching sci-fi stuff, everybody loved Space 1999. Okay, it was a Canadian science fiction television series, and I thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid because it was like the moon out of orbit traveling through the universe. I thought was dumb. Like, the moon you can't, like, how do you control? Like, I was a Star Trek fan, original series Star Trek, okay? But another Canadian science fiction series, and by the way, all the episodes are on YouTube. They're all on YouTube. You can find them. And James Kelly points out a fact. I can't deny this. Chris, you are the hardest working man on YouTube as of late. I wouldn't say hardest working. Alan's very hardworking. Couldn't do this without him. Even though Alan's like always gallivanting, he's going to like fun premieres, he's going to film festivals. I'm here in the studio. Alan gets to have the fun. Yeah.
And I have no time either. That's the
Horror Mike says the Starlost. There's a Roku channel dedicated to the Starlost, written by Harlan Ellison. Well, let me just say, Harlan Ellison did it, but he was so embarrassed by how it turned out, he took on the pseudonym Cordwainer Bird. And fun fact, whenever I go to a Comic-Con and they're like offering me like, oh, you can have like 5 badges, I always get one badge that says Cordwainer Bird as a joke, inside joke to myself. So I go to like a Comic-Con, they're like, oh, we can give you like 5-6 badges. I always get a badge that says Cordwainer Bird as an in-joke to myself. But the Starlost, there actually is a Roku channel, but also you can find it on YouTube. The Starlost was written by Harlan Ellison, created by Harlan Ellison, and it begins with Keir Dullea is sort of part of this Amish community. It's a farming community that they worship God, and the elders in the community go to this cave, and they come out and they from the cave and talk about like what God, the message that God has for everyone. Well, Keir Dullea starts to question God. He questions God, and he happens upon this cave with 2 friends and discovers there's a computer in the cave, but he doesn't even know what a computer is. He finds his way he comes out and he starts to reveal this, which is really interesting. It's about your whole world. Now you've been told one thing, and that's out the window. He finds his way into this area where he discovers that they're not living in a farming community with elders and some disembodied god in a cave. They're on a giant starship sent from Earth. And with it, covering the starship are all these tiny domed cities, each with their own cultures, each with their own like different peoples and societies. And this starship was meant to take people from Earth to a new planet so that the human species could survive. Well, it's been thousands of years in the future. The starship is off course, hurtling towards a star, and everyone's going to die. So the overarching story is that Keir Dullea, who played Dave Poole from 2001: A Space Odyssey, he has to find a way, and he's primitive, right? He grew up on a farming community, didn't even know he was on a starship, and he has to find a way to solve this, to basically get this giant starship back on course so everyone doesn't die. And in each episode, yes, Sean, who says the voice of the creator. What happens is he's going to each of the domed cities to kind of find someone who can help him, and it usually ends up into each episode is like solving whatever issue comes up based on going to that particular society. It's almost kind of like when the crew members of the Starship Enterprise would beam down to a planet to solve a problem. That's kind of what this is. It's a really, really clever concept. So it's great, but Harlan Ellison didn't like that. So, in fact, I think Harlan Ellison used parts of the same story in Star Trek: The Original Series, Festival of Landru episode. Yes, Bad Adam 12, kind of like that. But it's a brilliantly written show. However, it's cheap. It looks like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, the special effects in the Starlost are on the level of like Sid and Marty Krofft. It's just, it's not great. But
it's all on a set. It's all on the.
But there's a really cool, not just you can find all the episodes in a playlist, all the episodes of the Starlost. You can find like this little promotional video that they sent out to TV stations from, from the studio that made it to try and get TV stations to pick it up. And there's like these videos of Keir Dullea like on a film set, and he sits on a stool. I want to talk to you about the new science fiction epic, The Starlost. And it's like this dramatic like promo video that was never intended to be seen by the public, that was only sent to television networks to try and get them, get them to pick up the series and show it on their network. But here's what the saving grace of the Starlost is. The saving grace of the Starlost is the writing. The writing is mostly done by people like Harlan Ellison and writers who came off Star Trek: The Original Series in the late 60s, right? And some of the ideas were, unused Star Trek, the Original Series episodes. It has that feel of like old school sci-fi, and it's brilliant. Now, the episodes as you'll find them on YouTube are not great. They're like 480. So they're not going to look good on your 4K TV. But we should do like a deep dive into it. So
my question though, is it woke?
It's not woke at all. What's really cool is the actors in the show. Walter Koenig is a recurring character. He's an alien called Oro. Oro, of course, is the Spanish word for gold, and he's covered in like this gold outfit. He shows up in a ship, and he talks to them. He's trying to help them solve their problem, but not really.
Yeah.
Adam Gray, by the way, I owe you a package. Adam, I have your address, and I owe you a package, and I have not forgotten.
I will say, before Star Trek was Twilight Zone.
I haven't forgotten.
It was all just smart, insightful storytelling. from Twilight Zone to Star Trek, and it's like, you know, they were trying to point out the foibles of humanity as opposed to injecting an agenda, so to speak, into it.
Exactly right. These are human stories.
Mhm.
That's what these are. These are human.
And that's what science
stories.
fiction was always meant to be.
Exactly. Like, how would let me just find like the intro to the show. Maybe we could just watch the intro. Okay. The original TV opening, it's like 1 minute. All right. And it is cheesy. I'm gonna say it's early 70s. Keir Dullea has like a mustache where he looks like he's going to North Hollywood. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Okay. But I mean, that's his character. That's his character in the beginning. He's part of a farming community. Oh, I found the Starlost promo. Okay, should we watch this? Is this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Are you up? Are you up for this? We'll watch the opening. Of the
I'm
show,
so curious about the series,
which is like 1 minute long. Okay, wait, I gotta pause it. Oh, there's a freaking commercial.
Yeah,
damn it!
Play the
Let me
commercial
get
now.
through this before I. Oh my god! I'm so sorry, folks.
Put it on mute.
Get this. I got it on mute. I got it. Okay. All right. We're just gonna watch this real quick. It's a minute. This is the opening to the show. Let me do a quick. What am I doing? Stop cam. All right. No, wait. No.
Oh my god! You're just hitting buttons now.
I'm just hitting buttons. Alan. Okay, wait. Here we go. Okay, this is just the show opening, which is a minute. So let me get the. Okay, here we.
Yeah, there you go.
Is it sharing?
Yeah. Just hit.
Here we go.
The giant Earthship Ark, drifting through deep space over 800 years into the far future. Passengers, the descendants of the last survivors of the dead planet Earth, locked in separate worlds, heading for destruction. Unless 3 young people can save the Starlost.
And by the way, did you notice there that it was Douglas Trumbull worked on it? It's not unlike, if you've ever seen the movie Silent Running, that. Let me get to the promo.
It's funny, but the spaceships look like something you could do on a 3D printer.
Well, that's true. Wait, we're gonna watch this a sec. I want to go to the chat and see what everybody in the chat thinks. Hardware Wars font. Oh, you're right, James Kelly. Yeah. Dude, that seems great. No joke, says Gabriel. It's a 70s PBS feel. Says son of the Red Fox. Yeah, the Starlost on the Satellite of Love. It definitely has that like early Doctor Who vibe. Who just said that? Liam in Wales. Yeah, it has that early Doctor Who. But here's the saving grace of the show. The writing on the show is like you remember science fiction was on the Star Trek original series. It's about ideas. The opening episode is so bizarre. It's about God and belief and what happens when your belief system is completely thrown away. How do you react? They discover they're just this primitive farming community. They're basically, they're like Quakers or Amish, whatever. And then suddenly they find out they're on some spaceship. They're actually not on it would be like finding out the world is really flat. It's really interesting. And the film philosopher says, I want to live on that ship. Ever seen Red Dwarf? Of course I've seen Red Dwarf. I used to own every episode of it on VHS back in the day. My favorite character, the cat. Rimmer, as much as annoying as Rimmer could be, I still love Rimmer. We all need Rimmer. And that show had a lot of diversity back when no one cared about it. That show had a lot of diversity. I think there's only one white actor. Rimmer was the only, not that anyone cares about that stuff. It's just like, it annoys me when people have to point it out. It's like, yeah, no one cared when Red Dwarf was out, and Red Dwarf was brilliant, which was, God, now I want to watch Red Dwarf. Amish in space, come for the mustaches, stay for the stellar writing, says Civil War Tim. Wait, you mean Lamb Curry Monster, Red Dwarf's best episode. I just love the whole concept of Red Dwarf, that they're just on this ship like alone, and the cat evolved into a human, like, and is also the most fashionable. And I love that Rimmer is dead and a hologram. Just, I don't know, man. Yeah, well, Bethel Games, Only Blacks is also not diverse, but also no one cares. No one cares who's really a thinking person about that stuff. And I think a lot of this is young people who haven't watched anything previous to their birth. So there you go. So yeah, I didn't mean to divert into that. It's just, it reminds me, like, oh yeah, Red Dwarf. Has anyone seen that? And thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, Solomon Thornton, I'm sold. Turo says, in the end, you'll find out all the refugees on the ship were lefties that left Earth after Elon took over Twitter. That would be great. But see, a show like the Starlost could be rebooted, because it could be rebooted in the sense that no one remembers it, but it's such a strong concept, this whole idea. And, you know, Douglas Trumbull, I'm not surprised that he's involved in the special effects, because Silent Running kind of had that thing of like the domes, right? It's like, this is like, and Silent Running's like this very, it's a very on the nose, like film about, you know, conservation and save the planet and all that. Yeah. And we talked about this earlier. Gwagnar, Walter Koenig was on the show. He played the character. Who did he play? He played a character called Oro, who dressed in a gold space outfit.
I think you bring up the most important point here is we forgot how to write like this. Our TV, our movies, our television, there's no thought behind it. There's no introspection on the human condition, and
yeah,
it's gone. It's gone.
Silent Running is very hippie, and I still like it, like, just because I love Bruce Dern in that. I love Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the robots, kind of anthropomorphized robots, which were actually little people inside that costume, which I think George Lucas got a lot of inspiration from Silent Running. The thing that I dislike the most about Silent Running, unfortunately, is the music, because they have like folk music, which is like my least favorite kind of music.
Yeah, you need like, that electronic disco music.
Folk music. Oh my God.
The electronic disco is so much better.
Yeah. But Silent Running to me is still a classic. So Solomon Thornton and I agree. I do think Silent Running is a classic. And yes, we talked about this earlier. Oro literally means gold in Spanish. It's true. Says Jose Rodriguez. And I pronounced it wrong. Please I'm apologizing. So and Jeff Brooks, yeah, it's definitely a Battlestar Galactica, but I think this I actually think this is way better in terms of the writing. Battlestar Galactica got a lot involved in drama and a lot of action. And I'm not going to say that there isn't drama and action in the Starlost, but it's more about ideas as each of the characters, you know, sort of find themselves into different domed cities. They're trying to alert everyone, like, hey, by the way, whatever society you think you're living in, that's not the way things are. Okay, you're not living in a flat, whatever, like, or whatever religion. So that we are on a spaceship that's about to crash into a star. We could use some help. So there are more advanced civilizations. There are less advanced. There are different types of it's really good. The Starlost, even though it is so cheap. It's like Sid Marty Krofft and BSG, Lehman Wales. BSG was Mormons, kinda. Yeah, the Starlost is not, it's post-religion. So James Kelly, Westworld, anyone? Yeah, let's watch a little bit. Only because I have to go to the bathroom. If we want to keep doing this, I got to run to the bathroom, and you got to go to a movie in about a half hour, Alan.
Yeah, I got to leave.
Let's watch a little bit of this promo. I talked about this earlier. It's the promo that was sent to kind of just promote the show, and Keir Dullea is in it. We're not going to watch the whole thing. It's like 7 minutes. We're going to watch a little bit of this, but I just want you to see it. So, and Marinus Van Ziel says, well, you can also reboot concepts like Total Recall 2070, Space Precinct 1994, and Space Rangers 1993. Do you want them all? Do you want them to in 2022? That's a definite no. Man, probably not. But I think that like ideas that this is the problem is they look for something that's like a known franchise to reboot. And I think what you want to do is maybe go to something that wasn't quite there, like a Logan's Run. Logan's Run, to me, no one, I love Logan's Run because I love Jenny Agutter, and for a number of reasons.
Yeah, we know.
I mean, I think it was the first time I saw nudity in a theater was seeing Logan's Run when I was too young to see it, and freaking loved it, and loved Michael York and Jenny Agutter, and the acting in that movie really works, and the music is amazing, but the special effects do not. They weren't great in 1976, but that would be a great reboot. The reason that movie really works though is because of the performances and the music. I think it's also very well directed. The special effects do not hold up. Let's watch a little bit of this promo, and then we'll come back and discuss it. So I'm gonna be right back.
Earthship Ark, uncountable light years from home. Its passengers, the last survivors of the now dead planet Earth. Ark, christened 300 years before, launched in hope, seeking new worlds to colonize. Ark, a structure 200 miles long, riding on the strength of men's dreams for a new Earth somewhere beyond the infinities of space. The gigantic spacecraft Ark is an entire world of some 100 levels. Each level holds a distinct and separate civilization sealed off from the others. In the centuries of the journey, countless generations have lived and died. Man has forgotten everything, forgotten the reason for the journey, and forgotten the flight itself. On each level, men believe they exist on an immovable planet body surrounded by metal.
Adorable.
Our series begins when the colossal delusion is challenged. When one...
Oh.
Sorry, Alan.
Did you lose? Oh, okay, you're back.
Sorry about that. Let me just say this. Okay, that music is from Silent Running.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's so silent. No, it is Silent Running. They just use that music to I don't know. They just use that music because whatever they had to use something. It's also with something like this, it's temp music. So
yeah,
what can you
it's
say?
only meant for the studios to be better.
Yeah, but like we should. This is only 7 minutes. We could probably watch the whole thing if we pause it. Do you want? Let's just keep going. It's so it kind of gives you just a little tease of the show. So let's keep watching. Are we watching this together? Is this what we're gonna do? Chat, hello, chat, hello, McChat, hello. There you go. No, it's okay. This Joey says looks like a sales pitch to get it made. It's actually not a sales pitch to get it made. It's a sales pitch to get it to be played by television networks outside of Canada.
Syndication, basically.
Yeah, basically to get it syndication. So let's watch the rest of this and we'll talk about it. I might pause it again at a certain spot, but let's go back and we'll continue to watch.
A man discovers the stunning and nightmarish truth that they are the Starlost.
Really big one.
Hello, I'm Keir Dullea, and this is Douglas Trumbull. What you've just seen and heard is a kind of prologue, the bare bones of a new television concept called Starlost, the adventures of an entire world in space seeking a landfall. Starlost will be an hour-long series for first-run syndication in color and on tape. We believe that it is a fresh and startling exercise of the imagination, an audacious television concept which lends itself perfectly to sophisticated production techniques and to unlimited dramatic stories and characters. Let me give you a little bit more idea of the story. The central character is Vic Duran, my role in the series. Vic's world is, oh, it's strangely like a rural Midwestern town environment, some 50 square miles of peaceful farmland enclosed by impenetrable metal walls, the only world he knows. One day, he stumbles on a hidden stairway that leads him downward into the ship's deepest recesses, to the vast computer complex which controls the ship and holds the secret of its mission. There he reads the history and learns most of it. He discovers also that the craft's automatic tracking system has fouled. It will not reach its planned rendezvous, but in a generation will crash into a distant sun. His warnings are ignored, laughed at by the town elders at first, but his persistent defiance becomes a threat until he is forced to run. And now he's a fugitive, moving through the ship's various levels, in conflict with the different cultures and personalities. He must find someone who will believe him and help. And he must discover the control room to alter the ship's course.
Thank you, Keir.
Yeah, this is so everyone in the chat is talking about the quality is bad, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of what happens with this was, I'm sure this was shot on 16 millimeter, and you'd see how degraded the image is. It's not great, right? So yes, and someone, Musaphonic Recording says, was there a pod bay door? Let's hope so. But this is like also like Keir Dullea had done 2001: A Space Odyssey and not much else. And so here he got involved in like a what could be a great science fiction franchise by one of arguably the best writer who wrote the best episode of the Star Trek original series, Harlan Ellison, who wrote The City on the Edge of Forever, right, with Joan Collins. If you know that, so that's who created the show and wrote at least the first episode, and I know some of the other episodes. But yeah, look, this stuff degrades. Someone transferred it. I'm sure it was like a reel that was sitting at some television station. What's the 16 millimeter promo that we got, 20 years ago, and somebody transferred it. Yes, we need Scott McQueen, says Civil Gore Tim. We need Scott McQueen to restore this. I would love to see like a restoration of the Starlost, but you can find it. But yeah, that's true. Patrick Lemire. Did Harlan ever like an adaptation of his work? It's interesting because when you see there is a comic book of The City on the Edge of Forever, they actually did a comic book adaptation based on Ellison's original script for that episode of Star Trek. That's with Edith Keeler. You guys all remember that? Don't you remember that? That's one of the greatest Star Trek episodes. Kirk falls in love and he has to sacrifice the woman he loves to fix the timeline. It's amazing. And it's also, Gabriel points out, it's Shatner's favorite episode. That is absolutely true, Gabriel. Absolutely true. But Horror Mike says, I think Ellison liked the Outer Limits adaptations. Maybe we'll see. Let's you want to watch the rest of this? We'll see. Douglas Trumbull is about to talk, who did the effects, obviously worked on Silent Running among others. Let's continue. Alan, are you up for this?
Sure.
Yeah. So let's go. All right, here we're back.
Keir Dullea has worked on such films as David and Lisa, The Fox, and worked very closely with me on 2001: A Space Odyssey. In production terms, Starlost will utilize the most advanced production techniques available. This is one of them. A revolutionary new process called Magicam. What you're seeing is a simplified demonstration of what Magicam can do. Magicam is basically a matting process but an advanced and perfected one with no tearing or haloing, and actors can be placed with complete visual fidelity into miniaturized environments at an enormous saving in time and money. The process opens up unlimited production possibilities. When actors can be mounted into any kind of model set, the show can do anything and go anywhere in story potential.
These and other production techniques will be supervised by executive producers Jerry Zeitman and Douglas Trumbull. Trumbull is the man who created many special effects for Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey and Robert Wise's The Andromeda Strain. Trumbull also created and directed the film Silent Running and will soon co-direct The Journey of the Oceanauts. Harlan Ellison, Starlost creator, will be story editor as well as the writer of 6 episodes. Ellison is literally the most honored writer in science fiction today. He's won every award, has published some 25 books, written dozens of teleplays, has made science fiction the literature of our time. The New Yorker magazine calls him the chief prophet of the new wave in science fiction. Starlost will take over where shows like Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, Star Trek left off. It promises to be a most exciting and innovating program, a powerful drama of men pioneering the stars, and one man's struggle to bring them together, to find a new birthplace for the human race.
Hello, this is Keir Dullea, and to say a few words to you for 20th Century Fox Television, who's to be the distributor of Starlost, to be produced by Glen Warren Productions Limited of Canada. Starlost has already received national approval with sales to both the NBC-owned and operated stations, as well as Westinghouse Broadcasting. The series has also been sold to the CTV Network of Canada, and I'm proud to be involved in a series whose ingredients include Harlan Ellison, thought of as one of science fiction's most important writers, as well as Doug Trumbull, who has directed and created Silent Running, and who did many of the special effects for Stanley Kubrick's 2001.
Let's talk about that for a sec. Some of these episodes are really bizarre, and I should have mentioned, I actually do have the standard def DVD of the Starlost. It's like all the episodes. So I have this, and this promo looks better on that standard def DVD. So yeah, so if you can find it, I wonder if you can get it used on Amazon.
You know, I'm interested in this magic cam technology.
Yeah,
it's quite revolutionary.
I think we're way beyond that right now. But let me see. I want to find. Let's see. I wonder if the Starlost is actually the Starlost Complete Series DVD is currently on Amazon for $19.99.
And is that through Amazon or through one of the
complete series is there? It's DVD. It's DVD only. I don't think you can get. Yeah.
I don't think they've upgraded it to Blu-ray or anything.
No, it's not. No, I'm saying you can't get it digital.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. Well, there's like a less than a minute left. Let's finish watching this.
We all feel that Starlost promises to be a most exciting and innovative program, a powerful drama of men pioneering the stars, and one man's struggle to bring them together, to find a new birthplace for the race. I look forward to seeing you this fall.
Sorry about that. Okay, wait. Was there echo? I'm sorry, Turo.
Yeah, I think it's coming out of your mic.
I'm so sorry. I should have muted myself. I'm so sorry, everybody. I'll get good at this. Just give me a couple more years. Just give me a couple more years to get good at this. James Kelly says, does he turn into a star child? I don't think so. I mean, what's interesting about the show was, and this is different than, I mean, the original Star Trek series had the 5-year mission. Okay. And the 5-year mission was, and what were they doing? And I don't know if you know this, but the 5-year mission was supposed to be that they were mapping the galaxy.
Yeah.
That they sent out these Constellation class starships to map the galaxy. And of course, they'd run into people in other civilizations and whatnot. So there you go. But it never resolved itself except in Star Trek Continues. Star Trek Continues, which we should have a whole conversation. I uploaded a video I found on my phone. I was in an episode of Star Trek Continues, and I found this video. I found this video of myself. Should we show another embarrassing video of me? Or maybe I'll save it to, no, here it is. All right, here we go. This is me on the set of Star Trek Continues. In this episode of Star Trek Continues, I play an alien dissident from a planet called Eritrea, and I attempt an assassination of Captain Kirk using this device, which will now be on eBay for a reasonable price. Why do I still have that on my phone? But if you, I forget which, I don't know what the number of the episode is, but there you are.
Well, now they're doing the 5-year mission on Paramount Plus, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing Strange New Worlds. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, it's not gonna go.
I think I have no faith, and so there you go.
I mean, Pike looks a lot more jokey, and he doesn't have that air of leadership that you got from Kirk or from Picard. And
who knows if Kirk? I feel like they're just going to emasculate Kirk as they do with every male character. It seems in everything these days. Like there's, I mean, unless you're watching some Indian movie like KGF Chapter 2 or KGF Chapter 1 or RRR, you just don't get like truly masculine, manly characters. And Kirk was that. William Shatner's interpretation of Kirk. We're gonna wrap this up. What a crazy show today.
Yeah.
We talked about weird exploitation movies. We got to talk to Jimmy Hunt, who was in Invaders from Mars, and Scott McQueen, the rest. And then we got to discover the Starlost together. So there you go. I'm going to leave it with one of the things, we've been doing is we take these clips out. I found this old clip from 2018 from a movie I saw that was like I had kind of a meltdown. And I found this clip of me having a meltdown on, it's like a minute, and it's me having a meltdown about this terrible movie I just saw. And I'm just going to share it with you. They say, write what you know. And this person obviously just is person.
Well, there's like
team
5
of writers are really on their fucking phones a lot, which is why this generation of writers fucking sucks balls.
They knew puerile games.
What? I'm angry. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I know that they did a lot of meetings and a lot of energy went into this, and everyone should be fucking ashamed who worked on this film. You could have actually done something that matters. There's no reason for you to have made this movie. You wasted so much fucking time. No, I'm angry because this is what we get now. And I know how it's such bullshit. And the fact that like everything, looking at the computer, we're doing this, we're looking at our cell phones throughout the movie, it was ridiculous, which is why that got the biggest laugh. It's because it called out the movie for being as shitty as it was.
Yep. You know what?
I fucking hate this film. If you don't, Norm, you're going to review it, right, on the site?
Yeah.
Film Thread Doc?
Yep.
If you give it more than a zero, this thing's tank on fucking Rotten Tomatoes.
No, this is definitely one of the worst films I've seen this year.
What was that movie? Does anyone?
We got to work on the volume on these things because
what is it too low?
It is too low, yeah. But
it was.
I'm not sure if it was the video itself.
Was it too low? Everybody, I'm so sorry. Okay, does anyone know what that movie we were talking about is?
I remember the discussion. I don't remember the movie.
Well, it's an episode. It's an episode of the podcast from 2018, and I don't know. It was. Well, Liam in Wales says the audio was okay.
Maybe it's on.
Music overpowers your rant. Okay, the mix was bad. Okay. So what was it about Mars? No. Actually, the picture is the logo from the movie.
Yeah, it has to be a horror because you were talking to Norm.
Yes, Jeff, volume was fine here. Jeff Brooks says, Chris, if you need help editing or sound mixing, let me know. I do it for a living. Jeff Brooks, contact me. It's very easy to do because I do need someone to do that. And yeah, here's how you contact us. Go to filmthreat.com/contact. Jeff, contact me. I need to talk to you. You talked about a project maybe outside the YouTube. Okay, contact me, Jeff. Mention that I asked you to contact me. We're going to wrap this thing up, but I really appreciate, yes, it was Star Wars for sure. No, you guys will have to figure it out. 3 Men and a Baby? No. The Emoji Movie? Probably on the list, but that's a no. Last Jedi? No. Keep going. Transformers Extinction? No. Although these are all, very good guesses. Internet Rec Room gets it, nailed it. Truth or Dare? That was the movie that I saw. I was insulted that I saw it, and I thought it was awful. That was the movie. Thank you, Internet Rec Room. Yeah. Now I need to know what movie set Chris off. Yeah, it was Truth or Dare. I think they even made a sequel to it, which was, not great. Yeah. There you go. Truth or Dare. Other people are guessing it. Adrian Calleros says that. So a really good shoe today. Chris and Alan. Thank you. I'm not wearing shoes right now. I just said I'm in my socks. I'm in my socks. No shoes necessary when we're sitting here. Alan, okay, what was so bad about it, says Gabriel? It was just, I felt it was insulting to the audience. And I'll go with like bad horror movies. I'm in. I bet we just watched a bunch of bad horror trailers at the beginning of the show. If you didn't see it, you check out the replay. But yeah, it was just, I just felt angry and insulted, and I can't believe there's so many talentless people getting paid to do things. So it just set me off. And we recorded that. We recorded it like in public. I think we were just like, we just left the theater and just like, let's get this over with. And it was fun. And then some dude overhears us and joined the podcast, some random dude. It's actually a fun episode. So look up Truth or Dare. It's probably on. Do they archive all the episodes on? Okay.
It should in the podcast where.
No. iTunes does only archives your last 100 episodes.
Oh, okay.
We're over 500 now. But if you look up, it might be on SoundCloud or it might be on Spotify. I don't know. So there you go. Yeah, more rant. You know what? I'm done ranting today. I did the nooner. I've done Hollywood on the Rocks with Alan. Yeah, there you go. Let's wrap it up. Alan, you are at the San Francisco International Film Festival. You are off to the premiere of Hatching.
Well, it's not the premiere, but it's the screening before it comes out on Friday.
Alan gets into more premieres than I do. He does.
Yes, it's the BIPOC in me that gets me into this stuff.
Well,
I'm using it for now.
Use it while you can. So I'm excited to hear because you'll have other movies to talk about come Friday.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I got 2 more tomorrow.
Awesome. Join us for our Friday live stream. We start at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Boom. We will be here. We'll go for a couple hours. We've got not only will Alan be talking about Hatching, I'm going to be talking about Liam Neeson's new movie, Memory. I'll be talking about the Indian film, the Hollywood movie KGF Chapter 2, which is Chapter 1 is on Amazon Prime, actually, for free. So check that out. Also, what other movie are we talking about?
Do we want to spoil next week's movie discussion?
Oh, and next Wednesday, Alan and I will both have seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. A week from today, the Hollywood on the Rocks episode, we're talking about Doctor Strange.
It'll be a late one, a 9:00 start.
It'll be a later start for us. We might start at like 8:00, Alan. And you can join. Yeah. You can join like out of the theater.
My screen's at 7, so
the movie's 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. We'll start at 8.
Okay.
And I'll sort of get things started. I might have some new special videos to show everybody just to keep people entertained. So we'll be back Friday for our live stream. And it's probably going to take us a little longer to get monetized. I'm so sorry. But save your super chats, get a piggy bank, and just put the just
buy merch.
Has a Film Threat super chats, and then also I want to feature your videos of you telling us Film Threat reviews are delicious. You could do one just like this guy.
These movie reviews are delicious.
Film Threat. Well, there you go. Thank you again. Another great live stream. Over 100 people watching. That's big for us. That's big for us. So I appreciate all of you coming here and chatting with us. I know it gets a little nerdy. We went down some rabbit holes. I didn't expect to talk about Starlost, but it was kind of like Gary was trying to wrap up the nooner, and I'm like, "You've never seen Starlost," and I was just excited to tell him about it. Like, dude, you gotta see it. It's like the writing is so good. The show is like a Sid and Marty Krofft show, but like it's taken very seriously. And there you go. Alan, I can't wait to hear about Hatching and everything that you see in San Francisco.
Yeah, absolutely. I love being there.
Cool.
I loved being here. We'll see how this week goes.
Yeah. I hope your car doesn't get broken into.
Well, I flew up, so I'm carless.
Even better. And I hope you don't. I hope you don't get mugged. And please try not to step in poop. Try not to step in poop. Brandon Steinbeck 420 says Nerdgasm and Gabriel. And no Star Wars talk. Very impressive.
How did we not do this? I think this is our first episode where we didn't bring up Star Wars.
Well, I didn't bring it up for once. Sean, we love the nerdiness. Yeah. Well, you can't. If you hang out with me, it's just going to be nerd talk. Don't.
Yeah.
The film philosopher says, don't get mugged, Alan. So there you go. Emailed you, but okay. All right. I'll get back to you. Film philosopher, we tried to drag Star Wars into the rant. No Star Wars. I think I mentioned George Lucas earlier, though, a little bit, but not Star Wars directly. Thank you so much. We are Film Threat and everything. I am that Chris Gore, and I really, really appreciate it. Wait, I just got here. Was Chris describing San Fran? A proud American. Alan, a proud American. Alan is in San Francisco right now for the San Francisco International Film Festival, and Alan will be having a special Film Threat meetup. Where is that, Alan?
Let's see. I'm near the Tenderloin, so that's a nice safe area. We could all meet up in.
There you go. Thanks for the stream, guys, says Gabriel. Thank you for sticking with us. The corner has been turned, says not the Batman. San Fran, human poo, mugging equals topics. And also, will shoplifting be involved?
I see. There's a lot of broken windows here in San Francisco. Store windows, car windows.
There you go. Toker88, fantastic stream, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much to everybody. I love chatting with you every week about nerdy stuff and also just telling you about the lot of the movies that we see. And we're also we're going to have our guest, the director of Hatching is going to be with us on Friday. Alan, what do we like to say at the very end of the show? What do we always say?
Let's get out of here.